Okay, we're officially live. Whatever we're saying is going to be on stream, so just be aware. Please don't get me demonetized. Love you all.
Penis.
Literally less than 5 minutes. Come on.
Well, that isn't peanuts, like the food.
Yes. I am on YouTube. They care about this, guys. Well, I'm never monetizing my channel anyway. Why do I care? Like, honestly, at this point. Literally less than 5 minutes. Come on.
What are you doing? There it is.
Oh, that's double speak. There we go. I was like, what's going on there? I can mute that. All right.
Yeah, open it. I don't want it in miniature. I want it on the screen.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I fixed it.
No, I mean, I don't understand how, like, I have no chat. I can't get it.
Are you logged in?
Yes.
Hmm. Did you pass the community guidelines?
Yes.
I don't know, man. I haven't got
I
you.
haven't uploaded a darn thing.
I don't know. I have no idea. Also, hello everybody out there. We're just doing a little bit of last-minute preparation. One of our players is running a little bit late, so we're sort of just drawing it out. And I'm using the opportunity to do some prep work because there's no amount of prep work I can possibly do to possibly prepare for whatever my players throw at me.
And it's raining.
And it is raining.
It is actually not raining. Oh no, no, it's not quite raining here, which for England is actually quite nice and unusual.
Oh, that's good.
Did you want something, folks?
I like how the dog just, like, stopped to look at you.
He was being an absolute pest all the stream on Thursday, like just sort of like, please though, please, and just like resting his hand, like head on my hand and stuff, because there's dog biscuits tucked away in the corner, and he's like, biscuit, because you're a greedy boy. Where's the spare cushion off? Where is the spare cushion? There it is. You'll never end up resting your head on there anyway, because that's what you do. Whee! Go on, lose your shit. Seriously, I put a cushion there and you're still managing to not use it.
It's like, no, I gotta be as sad looking as possible.
I can't look like you respect my comfort. People won't pity me enough.
JJ!
Hey JJ, how you doing? We are currently live, just letting you know.
Oh, okay. Hello.
We are at the moment still setting up, so no worries, no rush. Just getting things off the ground.
Roger Dodger.
How you doing?
I'm good. I fell asleep in the car and drove home, so
That sounds nice.
I'm just rebooting right now.
Oh, it's cat.
Tag, you're it.
Okay. Just grabbing the last of these little things.
Hope you don't mind, Omni. I've just popped your link, Enos,
Oh, thank you.
on another server.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay. It's not a massively TTRPG server, but it is a very much a big streamer space, so
Nice.
I'm sure to wander over.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. Thank you so much.
Okay. And TYG do YouTube streaming as well. Ah! I spiked you! The irony that I'm here in a sci-fi game playing someone who is a hacker and good at technology when I am the most techno fail person ever. Like, I literally got an F in my IT at school. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, no.
That's when you
Well,
make
you
up
could have told
nonsense
me,
words
Lolly.
in place of what you actually need.
I fake it, and it's fine. Unless it's an Excel spreadsheet, in which case I can do you all the fancy equations and all the weird little formulas. Go through that as well.
Okay. Now I just gotta grab this last thing and we'll be ready to go. Thank you guys so much for your patience. I appreciate all of you.
No worries.
Okay. Let's do this. Copy. Go here. Let me just select everything outside of that.
I've been bringing my slightly weird chaos vibes into my brain today, so I'm very sorry.
You should never be sorry for bringing chaos.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you met this group? That's perfect.
Chaos is always welcomed here.
Oh no, don't tell me I've run out of my laptop.
Alright, and now I select all this. We're good to go. Okay. Alright, I can turn that off. Turn that off.
Oh shit. I mean, YouTube.
You're good. You're good. I think it's been past the 5-minute mark now, so I got no real worries.
Yay!
Now I want cookies.
Ooh, cookies.
Ah, well. I had the last of my birthday biscuits available. Haha.
Nice.
Happy belated birthday, Lolly.
Yeah, I did the aging thing last Saturday.
Happy
Nice.
birthday! What year are we looking at, if you don't mind me asking, aka
Oh,
breaching?
33. 33.
Nice.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it? I love that.
Well, I feel at least 93, so that's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a mood.
that's a vibe.
Yeah.
Today, I went to the gym and I got on the abductor, or not the abductor. Sorry, yeah. This is when you abduct. This is when you adduct.
Adduct, yeah.
So this is the adduct. Yes. So the adduct machine is what I got on.
Mm.
And when I tell you that, you got to get in and you got to spread your legs.
Yeah.
When I tell you
Yeah.
everything under the sun cracked, hips, dips, lips, like everything was cracking. I was like, what is going on here?
We used to call that the yes-no machine.
Yeah.
Yes, no. Yes, no. Yeah, no.
I love that. I was like, oh my god. Then I turned to my sister. I was like, did you hear that? She was
Yeah,
like,
no, I feel you. I live the life of a crunchy person.
Yeah.
Continual crunch rolls.
Cute,
That's
cute.
me.
Alrighty. I
It's
think.
fun. I'm not getting old and wrinkly. I'm just getting crispy.
Just-
Right, wrinkles never.
You're just building up your
Wrinkles
resilience.
everywhere.
Alrighty. I
Oh,
think we're good to go if everyone else is, so
what? Go.
about damn time, I guess. Oh shit, hold on. I need to make. Darn it, there's always one more thing. There's always one more thing. As long as you don't mind me just quickly handling this.
We're just vibing, my guy. We're just vibing.
Yeah.
You guys are so great, thank you.
Yeah, we're not the chaos.
Right. My brain is repeating the part from the epic musical where they're going to give the Cyclops wine, and it's just doing that bit on a loop, so it's fine.
I love that. That's
I'm
literally,
so upset.
that's literally what they were listening to as I was sleeping in the car, and I was literally doing it in my head, and it was wild because it was the last song of the whole thing, where he finally ignites and
The will you fall in love, yeah.
will you fall in love with me? And all I'm seeing is Penelope and Odysseus going at it about the bed in my head, and I'm just like, what is going on here?
I get through that song and I survive and I cope so well until that reprise of Just a Man, and then I start crying.
Yeah.
And I've listened to this whole thing, this song, at least 15 times, and I'm still just like,
Yeah.
That's
the part.
yeah. And then being wiggling my hands because I'm normally driving. I'm just like,
No, that was definitely the part in my subconscious dreaming where I was like, oh my god, this is real. So I was in the dream knowing that it was a dream, but I couldn't see. So I was lucid. I was very lucid.
That is a weird level of lucid. I mean, there's worse parts of that musical that could have been in the lucid dream. I'm just saying.
It's true. It could have been a remember them sequence,
Or
and that
Scylla,
would.
which,
Scylla, I think Scylla came next actually because I do remember Scylla, and I was like, damn, that could be eaten.
that's not what you want in your lucid dream.
Yeah, no,
Don't
it
go
was.
for it. Not the lair of Scylla.
Yeah, it was because it was just me in the corner, this is. I know it's a dream, but it's happening.
I don't have a torch. I'll be fine.
Right.
It's fine.
I'm just gonna hide in this little kitty corner,
Oh God.
don't see me. No, it's funny. I love my lucid dream wisdom. It was just I'm present. I know this is fake and I'm dreaming, but at the same time, let's have some fun with this.
Yeah.
I'm never like, there are some people who have the lucid dreaming when they're like, know that they're dreaming, and then they're like, okay, wake up, and then they wake up.
Oh no! If I have the opportunity to have a lucid dream and know I'm dreaming, I'm like, right, let's take control of this. Let's actually decide what's happening rather than the usual carnage that comes through here.
Right?
But,
yeah, no, it's always fun to try to change the script.
I'm gonna pick which chapter I would like on my choose my own adventure of dreams.
Right. It's always the best. Lucid dreams are always great because then you wake up and you're like,
Yeah.
fun, but wild, for sure.
Okay. I think this will be it. I appreciate everyone who's been super patient. I am normally much better about getting this stuff done in advance, but that's just how this shit is today. And how it is every week.
Life happens.
You guys know how this goes. There's no amount of GM prep that's ever enough. And unlike Critical Role, I don't have a team of 20, 30 people to make my life faster and easier. That would be nice. But, unfortunately, yeah.
I think I would still struggle to actually let anyone else do the things. Because I'm like, no, but I need to do it my way.
Well, that's fair. That's very valid.
Yeah.
I felt that.
I have wonderful players who are always offering to help build like bits of worlds. I'm like, yes. But no.
God, that's a mood. That is such a mood.
Like, oh yes, I actually would love this. And I'm there, I'm at the head going, this is a great idea. I really should, that'd be great to have their help. You all got too much on your plate, this would be good. The other part of my brain going, but 9. Oh. Damn it, brain.
Okay, and this phone is... Alright. And this is the perk of being able to upload this to YouTube, is later, when I stream this, I can basically edit out all this shit later by just going like, and the stream actually starts here. Huzzah. Get right to it. A little bit of minimal, like, clippage and we'll be good. So, with that, I think we are ready to go to the main page and kick it off. Thank you guys all so much for your patience. And, without further ado, hello everyone! I am the last Omnitect, your favorite robot American, and this is Unicorn Head Studios. And welcome, my Voyagers. Welcome to Legacy First Flight, our fast and light tale in the world of tomorrow. I hope you're all having a lovely day, because I am excited. I get to be here with my incredible players. Speaking of, here they are. We're all flickering them one at a time. There we go. Oh, you've all been like absolutely going like absolutely nuts in the background while I have not had my camera on. Yeah. I haven't been seeing what's been going on in the webcam this whole time.
We're just over here like,
just here. Like kids in a drama class pretending that we're trees. Feel like the tree, wave in the breeze. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what brain I put in, but it is not a sensible one.
Well, my friends, let's do a couple of baseline discussions of what's going on and how things are going, and let's do a quick audio check to make sure everyone is good. I can tell my mic is doing great. I'm spiking red. So let's take a moment to introduce our players one at a time. I don't need the shortcuts, thank you. Our incredible players this week are going to be, as I put these onto the back layer. There we go. Awesome. So, our incredible players this week are going to start with JJ. JJ, who are you, and what's the name of your character?
oh my god, what an existential crisis I'm having right now.
Who are you?
Who are you? Hi friends, I'm JJ. You can find me on the interwebs at JJ_Cray, or you can find me at JJ Cray on Blue Sky. I'm just a fun-loving gal who likes to make people laugh. That's what I do. I think that's it. Yeah, I play Amaya on this campaign. I'm so happy to be a part of this lovely project, especially because I get to play with my good friends. And yeah, that's me.
Hell yeah. JJ, you're incredible. Thank you very much. I'm glad you could make it today. Much love. Next up, our amazing player, Lolly. Who are you? Who are you playing?
No, reset. Can't. Hi, I am Lolly. You find me generally kind of on Blue Sky, sort of, when I remember to exist. And otherwise, I just lurk in the Discord. Just about. I will be playing Zenith, who is the far more technologically skilled and more grumpy version of me. So, good luck, everybody. I have gained a ball. I have been gifted.
Aw, delightful. Thank you so much, Lolly. Much love, everyone. Please go follow Lolly on Blue Sky. And you can find everyone's stuff in the doobly-doo in the video description right below. So please go follow everybody. And finally, my incredible partner, Lee, who is right over here. Lee, who are you? Who are you playing? And we are doing an audio check, so let's see how this goes.
That's fair. I don't really do much, so if you see my name on socials, that's not me, because I don't exist anywhere. But I play Becky Booker, the human engineer, who I'm still figuring out.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you, Lee. Thanks for coming in pretty well. A little quieter, but that's because distance.
I can come closer.
Okay, that's fair. There we go.
Hopefully that's better.
Yeah, it's getting a little closer, so we're doing all right. I'll just have to be a little more careful myself, and I'll have to turn my mic gain up and try not to blast out your ears, everybody. Apologies in advance.
I mean, I'll actually try to project, like, when I'm talking.
That's awesome. That's perfect. So, in addition to our usual players, we do have two others that would normally be here, but as you can notice, we have two webcams currently out of sorts. That's because our incredible player Paul and our incredible player KO, both of whom, again, their stuff is in the description. They're both incredible. They do so much. Go check them out and follow them. They're right below. Both of them had last-minute conflicts of interest that have pulled them out, family and immediate needs. So, good luck on them. I hope they have a good day. If you guys are out there listening, I love you. We miss you. Also, for the record, there is going to be a discussion that's happening later today in session, and I already got their votes. So,
Nice.
yeah, no, everyone is represented in this today. This is a big decision day for our party, and I want everyone to have a good say in it.
It's a great big democracy. Which is what we
Indeed.
like.
Democracy! Yes. Jinx. So then, I figure we'll take a little moment to say if anyone is interested in this campaign or this setting. Legacy First Flight, Fast and Light Tale in the World Tomorrow, is my homebrew tabletop indie RPG. I've been making this thing for the better part of 20 years, and I'm finally at the point of being able to start running betas and alphas as what this is, a closed beta live for everyone to observe. And I will explain some of the mechanics as we go, and also for the record, at some point on this channel in the future, very shortly actually, I'm planning on releasing shorts describing how the system works and how to play it. So keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, if you like this content and like what I do, please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below. You know the drill. Hit the bell, ring it a million times, do what you gotta do. But that's the best way to support this channel right now. We're still small and growing, but every little bit of support helps. Likewise, you can also support me in the Patreon below. You can see the link down there. And I post stuff about my webcomics there every week. If you are a paying supporter, you also get access to my webcomics 2 weeks early. And eventually, when I do an open beta, you guys will gain access to some extra bonus content. And eventually, even possibly the webcomic or the whole TTRPG for free if my Patreon's doing well enough. So, help me with that. In the meantime, who wants to do a recap of what happened last session?
The two
Oh,
people
let me
with
pull up-
all the notes.
Let me pull out my notes. Wait. What am I doing? I can search on my notes.
Well, how about we do it in two halves?
That's fine by me.
Because I can tell you all the stuff that Zenith's got up to, and then Amaya went and had a load of spoon meetings. So.
Oh my god, yeah. That's basically what I did, yeah. I was just in meetings all day.
Important meetings, though. Your character's out there doing all the socialing, basically.
Very true.
She is out there doing all the important actual interact with people things that, let's face it, the rest of us shouldn't be allowed to do.
I love you guys.
Um,
You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So we super duper check the ship again, top to bottom, make sure there's no infiltration of any form, physically, technologically, spiritually. I don't know. Any way we could check, we checked. They basically got some more information about how bad the damage to the
Parliament?
place where you park the ship.
Oh.
The dock. Dry dock.
Was there.
Garage.
Dock. The dry dock. There we go. The damage to the docks, that the smoke could even be seen from the orbit, which was pretty wow. As requested, we sent a bunch of our data information to the Prime Minister and Gentry Delan. There's a brief talk about, do we send it to everyone? And within 0.002 seconds, we all decide that's an utterly terrible idea, then we're not going to do that. So then Becky and Zenith kind of go off to do some investigations about the Song of War and try and work out what's going on. And like disable the helmet and kind of work out how is it working. We found out that it's being sent to these specific people and that are definitely part of the resurgent people who are related to the Anzali Imperial. We don't like this. These are bad beans.
Not good
Terrible
people.
beans. Don't put them in the pot.
Yes.
Terrible beans. That make awful stew. Sorry, weird thing to say.
You're good. You're good.
We were able to confirm that the people who that was going to specialise in infiltration and scuttling and things, and although the song doesn't say what they were after in particular, we kind of were figuring they were doing something. They were after something on the ship. We also managed to find out that they actually they were not the ones who crashed the ship into the. They didn't crash the thing into the dry dock. They just took advantage of that situation. They had all their kit and caboodle equipment already on the planet ready, and then used that under the cover of the attack. And then we sort of had a word with Klaxon and Maya, who were then going to go see if they could find out about what frequencies were being used for the transmission. Words.
Okay. Awesome. That's so much. Thank you. That's perfect. Yeah, everyone is still recovering from that big terrorist attack on that planet, which is a huge deal. And obviously the fact that it was actually used by as a false flag by a fascist org to try to cause havoc. JJ, what notes do you got?
So I have my talks. I have them kind of like sporadic, but I do have the Amaya and Klaxon. We contacted the UN to get some help, or the Union. I don't know why I put UN. The Union. I literally just we contact the UN. I meant the Union. To get some help. I got a message, I guess it was from Horak, saying that he knew that the custom communicator went through a JSA contract, like a contractor for the JSA. So I was gonna talk to him about that. And that this person, like he just sent me like some preliminary stuff. Like that this person ordered 1 million custom communicators and paid in raw materials instead of current, which is, I put in my notes, suspicious AF.
Accurate summary.
Yep. And let's see. Okay, so I had a phone call with Amaya had a phone call with Sarah and Gentry to kind of say, first of all, I'm so sorry for all the damage and everything that has happened. And then I also said, let's see, I have Sarah warns me to be careful about who I talk to, because she just got a vote of no confidence, and she may or may not, there may or may not be like a new prime minister by the time all of the dust kind of settles on this whole event. And then I basically reassured her that, like, even if she were to not be the prime minister anymore, like, I would still want to speak with her because her experience is something that I view as like an asset that would help us in any of our future missions or whatever. So I said I would still kind of keep her in the loop of things. And that was that. And then I called Horak. And let's see. Yeah, we talked about like the deal, basically, about this person who did this custom job for this communicator. and we talked about like the fact that they used all of the raw minerals, and that taxing raw minerals is much easier than taxing like current. That they transferred the buyer, whatever, transferred like several tons of raw materials using like mostly droids. But there was one humanoid there who was kind of the one doing the deal. And let's see. Yes, he said that the drones were created at Mirage Labs, which is a subsidiary of the JSA, primarily humanoid. Let's see. The person. This is about the person. The person was primarily humanoid. They had a rounded, translucent helmet, black helmet and clothing with red, no markings. The suit was obviously incredibly high quality. So this has been definitely a high roller. The meeting was super brief, and that the buyer mentioned like some future opportunities. Demeanor was strangely pleasant, very confident. The ship that the buyer came in was like basically like a small yacht. Anazalian design, really old, solid black, which I was like, oh, wow. I mean, he's a big baddie, but wow. My man just came in like rolled up in a Rolls Royce, like bam.
That's a level of confidence, right? I turned up for an arms deal in a BMW, right?
A BMW.
Yeah.
It's like I came to shit on you guys with my space car. Like, let's see, it had a space full drive, really fast, about 500 feet wide. A small crew, only a crew of like about 20. And then when I spoke about location of where we might find these people, or this humanoid thing, Horak said that probably somewhere like in the free marches is probably where they're at. So somewhere probably out there where nobody really is keeping a close eye on them, etc., etc. And then I do have something that says JSA Durandal. I can't remember what that was. I just put JSA Durandal. Just question mark. What else? Let's see. And that's all for me. I don't know if
Bond.
I've got a similar conglomeration of wordage. Yeah. Back to saying, yeah, me too, yeah. I noted also that it was only one order made, but it was, to quote what I've written, chuffing enormous.
Yeah, exactly.
I also have details about Louis and Claxon having a chat.
Yes, let's make sure we
get
that.
I did write that down. I was
having a greatly detailed chat, because Louis wanted to know if Shrike is... Okay, so he's able to hear specific like walking patterns, recognise the walking patterns of people because of the way their senses work. Could they also hear heartbeats and maybe recognise, different people's heartbeats and any anomalies with heartbeats? Claxon absolutely whooshed out on the realising what Lou was asking. I was like, shit, is something wrong with your heart? But say Becky's heart. Is there something wrong with Becky's heart? And so Claxon is now confused as to who has cardiac problems rather than anything else.
You're gonna give Louis heart problems.
He tries to ask for romance advice, and Claxon doesn't understand, so just offers to show him a cool knife instead. Which, I mean, fair.
Yeah.
Like, who'd say no? They then go to talk to the quartermaster, who really likes the vibey knife, is what I've written there. Confirms how good it is and that it can be sold for like 2,000-3,000 creds per knife. Could scan it, replicate it, and we went, yeah, sure. Quartermaster got really happy about this. He was like, can do the thing. Discusses some information about it. And discusses how nice it would be if we had somewhere to, set up and live properly, at which we said, oh, actually, that's something we're going to discuss to do, because we want to, I think we'd said at some point, we would like to see if we can replicate the Song of War thing, but to do it, we're going to need to actually,
triangulate
base, because
tap into
the equipment giant thing we need to do it is big and expensive and giant. So we said, yes, we are going to have to get a base. And again, the quartermaster was like, oh my god, I have ideas! And so we're like, oh, I guess we're doing this right now, because he's really keen to show us all his right move Zoopla properties, apparently. Got all the tabs ready. Delenray indicated that Delenray reckons that the thing that they were all after was Delenray. Delenray then also shows Zenith the Stellar Forge. Zenith has a small aneurysm and has to go write a letter to her wife or something because that was a lot to take in because she wasn't actually aware.
Oh my god. Small aneurysm, very tiny.
Just a small, like, it's just, what did I say?
All right, I think that's pretty much everything, right? Yeah, I think that's everything. You guys did great. All of you get yourselves an extra moat today, just in case. You might want that, because today's business day, after all.
You might want that.
Yes. So, I'm going to pick up a couple of days later. So, it's been about 2 to 3 days, and at least for the moment anyway, you guys haven't heard anything back from the planet. There's been no real news. It's been a lot of, or I should say, there's been no productive news for you all. I think all of us here in 2025 can understand the difference between there being news and there being news you can act on. And that's pretty much been the constant stream of news coming out of Evanti Prime, which is there's constant stuff happening and none of it is stuff you can really change.
News or new news.
Yeah, exactly. It's been the recovery efforts are ongoing. More people are being found dead in the wreckage. The wreckage is being cleared. Security has been reestablished. Several inquiries have been held and have been opened. None of them want to call you guys in yet. They'll let you know when you're relevant. Don't worry, they'll let you know. Likewise, also, there's been several dozen major political events on Evanti Prime after this major chaos has occurred. And so basically you guys have more or less been watching this place. I guess the nice way to put it would be burning itself to the ground practically politically, as all the major parties and all the major coalitions seem to be collapsing and reforming. Evanti Prime is in political chaos, and it looks like it will be for several more weeks before finally things stabilize out enough to actually do something. However, while this has been happening, about a couple days ago, you guys got a notice from the captain that your ship is being redirected by one of your crew members to actually go to a very specific planet, a world you've all been to before, Barreldyne.
Yes.
And so, as you guys are heading back in that direction, and also, sort of bouncing around the area, first it's Barreldyne, and then a couple days later, they redirect to Verde, and they haven't made any stops yet. Verde is where they actually stop. It's been about 5 days, so that's enough to get there. Basically, you were about already at ready to jump point, so it's first jump, 2 days in, another day out, jump again. You're now in Verde. And so, after all this sort of chaos has happened, and just weird shit movement, nothing crazy, nothing suspicious, because it's all been from your crew, eventually, all of you guys get a message. Now, I'm going to presume a couple of things. For convenience, today, because it is relevant, Klaxon and Louis are present. However, I ask a favor out of my players. Please don't directly address them or engage them. I don't like playing player characters. If you do, I will make it your problem. So,
I'll just monologue both parts. Yeah.
This is my I respect player autonomy. Don't make me disrespect player autonomy discussion.
See, now that's really serious, and that makes what I was about to say sound really bad, because I was about to say, we need to try and trigger it in such a way as Omni has to be both people having a conversation with himself.
Nope. I'll literally kill you. I'll space the whole fucking crew. We're past 5 minutes, so I can say that. So,
I'll just nuke the whole campaign right now.
Yeah, not actually. I don't mind doing stuff like that a little bit, but for the purposes of respecting the autonomy of my players and myself as a GM, having gone through that experience where someone takes control of my character and does shit without my consent and does not
No.
terrible, but like distorts my character's behavior in a way that they couldn't possibly have predicted, and I couldn't have predicted, I was not okay with that. And I will never do that to
No,
you
that's
guys. So,
That's fair.
No, I do say in jest. I would not actually suggest it's actually done.
that is fair.
Right.
So,
Okay.
you guys are all great. I got no beef with you. We're good.
Yeah,
Just-
we're not the chaos.
Yes. You guys are very much the chaos, but not that chaos.
Not that kind. Not that kind.
So, all three of you get a message. All five of you, technically, get a message on your wrist links. And it's actually from your ship's quartermaster. And it just says, it's time. Meet me at the quartermaster's post in the cargo bay. We have a lot to talk about.
Becky will make her way down, but she has her tools. She's gonna be working on the amulet still that I've tried.
Okay, that's fair.
It's been days.
It has been days.
Yeah.
So, okay, so Becky, you're heading down there. Everyone else, what were you all doing at this point? I'm gonna say, just to keep things simple, in terms of time frame, we're currently looking at, let's say it's, let's say that it currently is like 9 in the morning. 9 in the morning ship time.
I'm soaking in a bath.
Okay.
My
Just to
daily-
chill with.
Yeah, I'm just floating in the tub, just
Just starfish.
Yeah.
you know.
Jellyfish.
Yeah, no, I would probably say I'm just soaking in the tub, so I'll probably just get out and go to the deck
Okay.
or where we're meeting.
All right. And then finally, Zenith, what have you been up to?
Yeah, that early in the morning, just kind of woken up, checked in with notes, misting the plants. Just careful misting. Botany care. And I was like, okay. Bring note things, because always take notes everywhere, because never know when you need to write it all down.
I mean, convenient that we have wrist links, because we can just be like, yeah, I'll just my notepad.
Yeah. I mean, it is helpful. Like that's.
Some notes are a dying art, so
I mean, that's the whole point, right? Like, you have to be able to, do this stuff. Like, we have
And-
cell phones now. Why 400 years in the future wouldn't you have the equivalent of this extremely convenient technology, unless there was an active attempt to avoid that in the future? And I'm sure there's
but
been a
also
couple.
hack this.
Yeah, there's been
You
a
know?
couple of like Luddite movements for sure, but everyone still has the equivalent of like a notepad on them. For the record, again, as somebody who now knows what the Luddites are about, Luddites were tight. Look up the Luddites. They were fucking awesome. Throw bricks through your local factories. I can't actually tell you to do that. Don't actually do that. But at the
Don't
same
do
time,
that. Don't do that, but
But at the
Legal
same
reasons
time,
don't,
that's
but
based as
also-
hell. Hey, Sir Bones, we're actually just getting started. Welcome aboard. So,
Welcome in.
as you all gather, we're going to put you guys in the cargo bay of the ship. So, the actual ship itself is, again, pretty large. I believe the craft itself that you guys use is the bases, player bases. Yeah, you're on the Acheron, so we're just going to take everybody and slap you all there. So, the Acheron itself is pretty big, and also these guys are going to be just thrown into the back. You guys they're off doing their own thing. I'm going to presume that there's not
Yeeted.
present. There we go. Yes, yeeted. So all of you guys are actually meeting in the bottom of the ship. Down here, this little section right there is actually where, like, basically the cargo bay is, the docking bay, that kind of thing. It's actually an orbital drop, like, structure. So it's like a garage that faces the bottom of the planet. Literally, starships can just drop landers directly into a planet's gravity well, and they just sort of let them take care of it. So it's a convenient way also for a ship to kiss atmosphere and drop atmospheric craft, and then pull out without having to fully re-enter. Meeting you there is a familiar face, and that would be Cogsworth. So, Cogsworth has been, it looks like, sitting there for at least a little bit, pleasantly, and I don't know why this thing decided to open that way. It's very frustrating. Here we go. Come on. Brother in Christ.
love that guy.
Yeah, he's
Little
fun.
Cogsworth.
Here we go. Ah! Get on there. Got it. Alright, so. Cogsworth has been sitting there, sort of, or I should say, really like reclining there, long serpentine insect-like body, sort of just playing with a pad as you all approach. Ah, well, good to see everyone here. You're looking particularly moist today. Very nice. Zenith,
Thanks.
love the tendrils. Becky, good as always. So, I presume that Louis and Claxon already let you two know about our little plan to buy some real estate, and I presume you're with it, right? You're still good with that?
Yeah, we kind of need it.
Yes.
Alright.
A sensible choice.
Well, at the moment it appears as though as if it is your only real choice, practically speaking. At least from what I hear about the whole Del and Ray having plans thing. Keeping that on the DL, don't worry. But we still need to get you guys set up. So let's work on some basics. You all, in this lovely little tin can here, have been doing pretty well, but you need something a little more sturdy. I've managed to set up a number of buyers, or rather I should say sellers, for us, and for what we're doing. I've managed to acquire a total of 4, and literally Cogsworth does not have fingers. They have paddles because they're click, but they have 4 sets of tiny paddles. They hold all 4 sets up. I have 4 separate potential locations. We can visit all of them in short order, and I want your opinions on this. Consider this home tour. I think that's what they used to call them, like those weird old shows that humans used to watch where you'd go and look at a bunch of miserable locations and fix them up and then flip them for an insane amount of currency locally. Delightfully extortionate. We can do that here. So, at least that's the plan. Which brings us here first. I know you've all probably been a little antsy with the fact that I've kind of been playing hopscotch with the starship the past couple of days. Thanks for being so patient. It's been kind of hard to get to some of these channels, and some of these meetings are not the sort of thing you can do over comms.
It has not disturbed my research. I have not needed to care.
I love that.
Kind of looks over like, okay, like the emo kid kind of phase, like.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like I was listening to My Chemical Romance in my room.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear you over me blasting Fallout Boy. Yeah. For the record,
all of us showing our ages.
Yeah, no. Also, still like Fallout Boy, and also, just gotta say this very quickly, just total aside and derail. Linkin Park is actually doing pretty fucking great lately. Like, Emptiness Machine's actually a great album. But pulling it back. So, part of this is because of the fact that what you guys need is actually kind of important. You're not just doing buying base thing, right? You're not just normal real estate folks. You're all Voyagers looking for a base, and your needs are secrecy, efficiency, and also discretion more than anything. You need to make sure whoever you're buying it from doesn't tell anybody that you bought it, or doesn't keep any records of it. You need to make sure that they're not passing it along to anybody we know. And then finally, you need to make sure that it functions and it's relatively cheap. So, this isn't exactly a put an APB out across the system sort of thing, across the union. I had to go find these buyers directly and engage with them because we couldn't leave any records behind. Good news. There's an old friend waiting for us down in the orbital over this planet that you might remember. He's been very helpful with me in getting this set up. So if you all don't mind...
Hayu?
Yeah, Hayu. It's Hayu. I was gonna be all discreet about it. We were gonna ride the ship down. I was gonna do a big reveal. But... Louis, fire up the shuttle anyway. Let's go meet him in person.
Oh my god.
Like he's just excited. Just like, yeah.
You can see, like, a little crestfallen, but still, like, just happy to be doing this, finally.
It's okay. I do not know who this person is. You can tell me.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're new to this crew. At this point, like, Louis is firing up the ship, and everyone's, like, sort of, I'm presuming, filing on board.
I mean, he can introduce himself once you meet him.
Yeah, but we should probably at least lead with one thing. So, once the door is closed, Louis, can you seal the door for a second? And Louis just sort of gives a nod, and there's a sound as the outside of the shuttle locks, and you guys are able to sort of relax a little more. I'm gonna put this over here for us, since we're now approaching Ventura. So as you guys are sitting there, and the ship takes off and begins to fly away, you just see, like, Cogsworth lean forward. So, let's deal with the elephant in the room. Our buyer is not normal, which is pretty obvious. Fuck it. He's a tech lich. So...
Oh!
yeah. He doesn't fly that flag particularly high, and for what we've been able to identify, he's actually pretty cool. He's not a threat to all life. He's been very helpful and very discreet.
How are the revenants doing, by the way?
You'll have to ask Caillou. I was strictly business. Again, limited conversational ability. We basically use like several back channels to communicate. So all I know is Caillou himself is clearly doing well enough to be doing business again. So there is that. But long and short, don't ask what's under his suit. Don't ask to tamper with his suit. Don't ask to see his face. Just trust me on that. You don't want to do that. Bad business. So, and also, finally, don't bring any attention to that while we're there. As far as the citizens of Verda know, our boy is just a human in an old beat-up spacesuit.
Yeah.
Okay. I think.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. We've had a couple of crazy adventures. They'll
You don't
fill
say.
in with us.
Huh. It's just like, what? Huh. Why is this just like, oh, by the way, just a small, tiny thing. What?
Yes.
So yeah, I've written down the person we're meeting is a tech lich, but in a chill way.
That's about as accurate as I
Yeah.
think we can get, really. So,
Okay?
alright. So, eventually, you guys do manage to get down to the planet. And meeting you there, if I can actually expand this, that'd be lovely. Sure, that's fine. This is how you. So, there you go. Just gonna expand a couple of these so we actually have our different players and our different folks involved. There we go, that's about right. And let's get our actual players down here, because we should have my player. Where are my player tokens? Oh, that's right. I just have to drag you guys onto here. One day I'll remember how this thing works. There we go. We got it. We got it. And Zenith.
We're just little blips.
Working on it. Working on it.
Bloop.
Here we go. Perks of working with Roll20. Pretty easy to fix that. Like, just a couple seconds of finagling around. And we're
Oh,
pretty
is this
good.
how you?
Yeah.
Yep, that's how you.
Did he get a little upgrade?
He's no longer the junker copper, right?
Oh,
Yeah, he's looking
Right.
good.
That's
He's good.
that's actually the same look he had before, but I'll say it's a
Is it?
little more polished at this point. He certainly
Okay.
seems to be taking care of his suit a little more.
Yeah.
Maybe
So-
that's it. I thought it was like a whole different color scheme, but I like it.
Yeah,
Can I roll
no.
engineering to see if there's
You
anything
discovered
that
cleanliness.
should be fixed?
Yes.
Say that last part again?
Sorry.
It's alright.
Oh, me.
Yes, you.
Yeah. Can I roll engineering to see if there is anything that should be fixed?
No.
Okay.
Answer's no. His suit is well maintained, and we've already danced on this line before. So he is alright. He's looking good. His suit seems like it's well maintained. It's still beat up, but it's beat up in that way that he's doing it intentionally to keep people's eyes off of him, because he's basically busy. Also, here's the full image if anyone wants to see it. There we go.
Like when someone puts the rusty decals on the car or the van to make it look a bit more beat up than it actually is.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we're trying to sneak past the space cops here. Undead aren't particularly welcomed in any setting, and in Legacy, being a tech lich is also frowned upon. Because unlike in D&D, where necromancy is just sort of magic with an edgy spin, in Legacy, if you are a tech lich, that means that you are at very least exploiting organic matter with machinery. So, you know, horrifying stuff.
Not that he asked for it.
Yeah, exactly. He was kind of subjected to that against his will. It's why he's actually pretty chill. So then, Hayu has been sort of just like standing there looking around and sees you all approach. Oh, well, good to finally see you all. I was wondering if you were going to show up. Welcome.
How you been?
Good to see you, Becky Booker. Good to see you. Anna Maya, it's always a pleasure.
Of course. Likewise.
And I see a new face here. And a Zully by the look of it. A genuine pleasure.
Don't worry, she's on our side.
Yeah, this is Zenith.
Zenith.
She gives a nod and Zenith and Berlin anyway. Just all the word. She's there in her Matrix-esque kind of the long coat and everything because I love it for her.
Fair. It's a very good fit.
Yeah.
And she's a hacker, so of course it would be rude not to.
A pleasure to meet you, Zenith. Merchant Hayulu. So, now that you're all here, I presume you want to take a look at a couple of the properties that I'm guessing our friend here, Cogsworth, wasn't screwing me around about. This is actually like real, right? We're actually talking about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
We kind of gotta.
Right. Well, you know, discretion is kind of my thing, so we'll take care of it. I promise. Come with me. There's a small orbital nearby that I want to show off to you all. And we have ourselves a little ship we can pilot about. It's not mine, don't worry. I know that was an old rickety bucket and you're not particularly okay with trusting your lives with it. But we managed to get a small shuttle we can fly around here. Thankfully, it appears as if Director Sage has actually been quite helpful getting this arranged. By the way, I think you should know some interesting news. So, remember the way that Verde was considered relatively unaligned within the sector? Technically, it's free march?
Yes?
I thought you might want to know. As of 2 weeks ago, we're officially Common Notion now.
Wow.
Becky's just pleased as punch. Like, yes.
Well, turns out that after trying to negotiate several dozen times with other larger organizations, we realized that the planet basically just operates with 3 larger cities, but they operate like smaller settlements. So, the speaker arrangement made more sense for us. And frankly, the Common Oceans are a little more welcoming than the JSA are. And I'm perfectly fine not having more eyes around here to pry and poke. So, I'm relieved they went with that. So, it's...
We would bail you out. You know that.
I know, but I don't want to put you all in that position. The last thing you all need is the heat of having helped out of a jam. Sort of gestures to himself vaguely.
Yeah, friend. Don't worry. Just like Amaya knows what he's talking about, but she's like, don't nobody care about that.
Yeah.
Right then. So, if that's the case...
Zenith is following the vibe, even if she doesn't understand it. It's like, hey.
Eventually, he leads you to this tiny little ship. It's a little Tortuga-class shuttle, the same kind that you guys used to get down back and forth to the planets. And it takes you off into a little chunk of space nearby. And it's around the second moon of Verde. Verde has 2 moons. One moon is a naturally occurring moon, a lot like our Luna. Largely not very, inhabitable, mostly no air. Basically, it's like Mars, but less red, more gray. And next to it is a captured comet, which at this point is the second moon in a stable orbit and mostly shattered. At this point, it's like a very tightly bound asteroid field, as most of it was used to sort of help terraform the planet. that's where you're headed. The second moon, with all the shattered comet bits floating around and all the ice particles. The sound of tinkling as little pieces of frozen ice bounce off the outside of the hull as you guys fly closer. Just sort of almost like the sound of rain, or like wind chimes in the distance. So then, I figure the first location I should show off to you is something relatively easy to get started with. Around Verde we have about 8 to 9 different orbitals, of which any point in time 5 or 6 are up for sale, and that is like just the ones that are easily accessible. If we count all the many other orbitals, we're probably sitting something like around 50 to 60 in the system. This particular orbital is something that I thought you would be intrigued by. And as he starts pulling the ship closer, and I'm just gonna share this with you guys, show to everybody, huzzah. As he pulls you guys closer...
Oh, very Tron aesthetic.
Thank you, yeah, I kind of like that one. As he pulls you guys closer, you see this, it almost sort of looks like a disk drive, sort of, pulled straight out of a computer. But where there would normally be the CD drive in the middle, there's just sort of this hole ringed by glowing red, what almost look like lights, but as you get closer you realize they almost look like thrusters. Becky, you can make in fact, actually, Becky and anyone, you can make me an engineering roll if anyone's curious about what it is.
18.
Oh, thank you, Bones, I appreciate it. Okay, so we have an 18.
You're still muted, Lolly.
I was kind of self-chuntering, but yes.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry.
That's fine.
Oh!
Exploding dice. We got ourselves a 6
nice.
on a d6. Roll it again. That's a 9. Okay.
Annoyingly, my d12 is probably still better because that's an 11.
That's fine. Yeah. Criticals only really apply, are only really that important if it rolls higher than your other dice, or if you're using a weapon which has a critical effect, so using the original is fine. That's an 11, and yeah, that's pretty good. Was Amaya taking this test or not? Okay, no worries. I didn't think so. It's not really Amaya's expertise. The two of you immediately recognize that those are actually all what would be described generously
I
as...
forgot the +5 to engineering. I'm sorry.
Significantly more than you need. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
You're already rolling high enough. Like, I presume that was with mods. With mods further, holy crow. So you're good. Those are fusion torches, actually. So the entire center of the ship appears to be an industrial forge, basically. This entire, space station is built around this ring that, as you can see at the moment, it's currently hovering over what appears to be an asteroid. And those rings, that orange ring, is lighting up the top of the asteroid, and it's steaming as those lights are focusing on it. And it's literally sizzling away the outer layers of that thing to sort of reveal, exposed iron veins and stuff like that underneath. That little tinier craft are sort of darting around, pulling the iron out, mining it. Spotlight sort of looking down on it. It's a very simple design. And so, as a result, you've got this, very strange blocky craft. So...
Reminds me of college.
I presume then that means you worked industrially. This is a Skira 53. It's a very simple, low-tier level mining orbital. They're very common all over the place. And pretty much the easiest way that Click can exploit an asteroid belt. So these things are kind of neat in a couple of ways. First off, super rugged. Ridiculously so. These things are industrial machines. And as a result, they're made to take wear and tear and be repairable. So they're pretty cheap, actually. Most orbitals will run you between, 4 to 5 million current at least. This thing will run you just 3, which is actually a pretty good deal, all things considered. Relatively small crew needs, 25 to 500 tops. Actually, I think it's 25 to 200 on this. Hold on, and he pulls out a little, notepad, and it's actually not, a hollow pad, it's paper. He's actually using a paper pad. He flips it over. 200. 25 to 200.
Zenith nods in approval.
Yeah. Right, 25 to 200.
See, paper.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I was growing up, this was the norm. So, I mean, 400 years does something. But, and honestly, those hollow pads, just I don't like the lack of haptic feedback. It doesn't feel real. This is real. And if I lose power, I don't lose everything. So, you sort of like lets it go and it floats in the cabin because you all are in 0G right now. Also, hey Koopa, good to see you. So, 1, super durable. 2, cheap. 3, low crew requirements. 4, surprisingly nimble for an orbital. These things are made to move around asteroid belts and exploit them, so as a result, you can sort of go where you need to go and do what you need, and it's pretty easy to sort of hide in larger structures. Finally, we also have the probably most important part of it, which is these things are designed to replicate. So, Scara platforms are designed where you bring one into an asteroid belt or onto a planet that's being exploited, you introduce it to some useful resources, and as long as it has an industrial mining array attached to it, like you can see here, and the ship sort of flies a little bit under, and to put it in perspective how big you guys are, you guys are about as big as, like, if you zoom in on this picture, like, really zoom in. I'm gonna, like, actually have to kind of do this. Oh, goodness, I hate how
Yeah,
that
it doesn't
works.
let you scroll.
Not very well. There's a little tiny, like, off to the right below where my camera is, for you guys who are watching. There's this little tiny thing right there. That's a ship the size of what you guys are piloting. Those little things that are exploiting the asteroid, those are the size of your shuttle compared to this thing. So, big'em. In fact, actually, we'll take you guys to it. Because we actually have it, believe it or not. Here we go. I actually have the stats for this thing. Here we go. That's better. Now we can actually get real close to it. You guys can actually see it. So, if you can have an industrial mining array attached to this thing, and you bring it near an asteroid belt, leave it alone for about 2 weeks. If you don't hacks the industrial mining array and you let this thing do its job, it'll replicate itself completely. If you don't have access to any kind of resources, you can still spend roughly about 500,000 currents worth of equivalent, resources. It'll do the same thing. And so this thing works like a swarm. You start with one, and after a few months, you can have a constellation of these things, operating as a large dispersed space station over a larger area, which gives you more resiliency in case you're attacked, and more redundancy. Now that said, let's be real about the downsides, and in fairness, I think, if we're being real, Cogsworth, you know more about living on a cliquish rig more than I do. And at this point, Cogsworth chimes in. Yeah, so, couple of downsides. One, these things aren't made for long-term habitation. They're made for people to do mining operations and go home. Think of this as an oil rig on a planet or the equivalent. So, you go there, you do your job, and eventually you shift off to home. However, you can live in these things long-term, but they're not made to be comfortable. It gets a little cramped in there, and they're not exactly wide-open spaces. So, that's the one. You're going to need to invest in crew comfort if you want people to actually enjoy living on these things and not going stir-crazy. 2, these things are still cheap, which means they don't really come with money advantages and they're them individually very small. So, outside of their replication, you're going to have a real hard time expanding it. I do think the replication is better than normal expansion on an orbital, but it's something to consider. So, just be aware of that. You're going to want to let this thing replicate, and you're going to want to invest in these things. That's pretty much the biggest one. It's durable, it'll get you by, but invest in those crew comforts unless you want to go nuts. I could be fine with it, honestly. Click live underground their whole lives, so cramped is comfortable for us, but for most other organisms in the galaxy, as I understand it, you all have issues with that. So, yeah. So there you go. That's the Skira there. Any questions? We can go ahead and take a look on board if you're all interested. There's still 3 other prospects. And at least 2 of them are in the system. So, you all can choose.
I think as far as I'm concerned, I think I'd like to take a look at the other ones. I think that if we're going to invest in a place, we'd want to invest in something that's more long-term, something that's comfortable for our crew. So I'd like to at least take a look at the other one.
Roger that. Yeah, okay, we can absolutely do that.
Always establish all available options before making a decision.
Yeah, and Becky will lean into Hayu and just be like, so how are the guys back home?
Oh, you mean them. They're doing alright, actually. No complaints, honestly. Like, as far as I can tell, the Revenants are settling in very nice. The Revenants are settling in very nicely. At least that's what, why was I using Cosmos
Yeah, I
voice?
was very confused.
My brain is still switching back and forth. Apologies.
I was like, Cogsworth being nosy.
Like, okay, now that we're in this...
I have already said Cogsworth does not know. All that shit was said in Hayu's voice.
Okay,
I apologize.
okay.
Sorry about that. As far as I can tell, everything back home is fine. The Revenants are settling in pretty well, and the Union's actually been doing a pretty good job of reintegrating them. So, things are going smoothly, at least well enough.
Good.
As he's piloting this in another direction.
Zenith's going to sort of come over to her mind and say, is there any written record of the mission that involved this situation?
Written. I think we do have some. Somewhere.
I think it might behoove me to look at those.
Yeah, sure. I can.
Because she's just like, this is a lot to take in. I might just have to read some notes to go, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, I think it was from one of our previous missions. I will go ahead and forward that information to you.
Thank you. Because she's hearing these things being said, and she's just like, what?
Yeah, and then I'll ask Calcifer. Probably we fastest while we're on this little tour. I'd probably just ask Calcifer to go ahead and forward the information we have on how you in previous missions and stuff, and just have them sent to Zenith, please.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure that Calcifer will just give you a little like ping and an acknowledgement, and yeah, Zenith, after a couple seconds, your wrist link just begins flooding with reports, like one after the other very quickly. For the record, like 90% of them are redacted, but you have the ability to get past them. You're still technically on an open network, so like those will not unlock till you're on the ship.
No, she's kind of just wanting to just kind of get an overview of like, okay, because she's there like, I am missing so much of like the interaction of what's going on here.
That's fair.
I just want to get a vague gleaning of what.
Cliff notes for you, super fast. They came to this planet looking for a ruin that was somewhere in the southern storms of this world, which this world has crazy atmospherics. So imagine a planet that's split in half by like 3 hurricanes that just perpetually exist around the North and South Pole. And they go like pretty much all the way down to the temperate belt. So, very difficult to fly through that. Even landing on this planet is kind of a pain in the ass. However, the actual city they landed in, city of Stormdrum, was losing people, literally being abducted, and they didn't know what was going on. Turns out it was a bunch of revenants, Revenants are effectively like giant, once human AI constructs that used to be like ship security and industrial work, that kind of thing. But after their core AIs are destroyed, or disconnected from them, their metal frames don't possess the processing power to maintain their intelligence consistently and in a healthy way, so they eventually suffer machine dementia, basically, and eventually can become feral and dangerous. Turns out there was a huge horde of a tech lich way out in the storm using it as cover to kidnap people, having hijacked these revenants who themselves normally wouldn't have done this, using them to infiltrate cities, take people, and then subject them to horrifying cybernetic surgeries after they're dead, to turn them into, effectively, meat puppets. and made a huge army of these things, and our players sort of stumbled across it, found it. Yu was involved as one of the original members of that crew from that ship, and was unaware of the dread horde being assembled in the wilderness, and sort of helped everyone take them down after our players made an agreement with a powerful, an incredibly powerful, revenant leader that was basically like, hey, I used to be the administrator on this ship, and I just want to keep it safe. You all help me take back control of my brothers and sisters. I will gladly help you put an undead dude in the ground. And they basically freed the planet, more or less. They killed the Tech Lich before he could march his huge undead army through the storm wall and attack the cities in the south. And his plan was basically to snowball across the whole planet and use it as an experiment for his pursuit of living forever, as Tech Liches are basically humans that modify their bodies so that they don't die. Or rather, I should say, when they die, their minds are in a computer and they sort of puppet their meat bodies around remotely. So there you go. That's the long and short. I think the fastest summary I've ever done of that.
I mean, don't forget Heller.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Wait, see what?
Heller darn.
Oh, yeah, Heller.
The
Heller's the Tech Lich. We'll name those characters later, but yes.
Well, because we still aren't sure where he went, so...
Yeah, our players didn't necessarily... They destroyed the Lich's body, but they're not sure if that's all of him, because you know how it goes. So, shrug. That's the long and short.
Thank you.
My pleasure. So, next up, as you guys are flying towards this next location, we will open up this other orbital. As you guys get closer, this orbital is pretty big. It is, compared to the other one, which was like, roughly about like a half a kilometer long, not much bigger than your current, not much, it's actually a little smaller than your current ship. This one, on the other hand, much bigger. This thing is about 3 kilometers long and huge. At its top, there's a large orbital ring of some kind that appears to be attached to some kind of thruster array. It has these massive solar collectors, which aren't directly connected to it. They instead seem to float orbiting nearby. And its whole base is what appears to be just a series of cylinders interconnected, moving in different directions at a relatively steady speed. For those of you out there who enjoy science fiction, you'll recognize this as a variety of O'Neill cylinder space station. The actual orbital that you guys are flying, or the little like spaceship that you're flying, the little shuttle, Yu, as it pilots closer, notices there's like a couple of these smaller satellites flying by. They sort of almost look like one-winged birds hovering nearby, and each of them has this massive solar collector pointed towards the planet, towards this star in the system, all gathering power. And the ship itself, your little shuttle, is actually able to fly into the O'Neill cylinder at the bottom. There's sort of a gate that you can access through. And when you fly into it, the interior of it is actually atmosphere. Like, it's pretty big. We're talking about I'd be willing to say like a half a kilometer wide interior space in terms of like circumference. Or not circumference, diameter, that's the word. A half kilometer diameter on the interior. As he sort of flies you through, you can actually smell like wind whistling in from the exterior. Like, it's actually doesn't smell terrible either. It smells like fresh earth, as the entirety of the interior of this O'Neill cylinder, of these structures, is filled with dirt and like water and actual terrain. It looks like a little slice of a planet.
Gallant would love this.
At this point, you could see, like, next to you, sort of, Cogsworth just sort of, yeah, he would, be pretty excited about this. Unfortunately, he isn't here, but, you know, depends. You guys can always come back to visit. Right now, it's still for sale. This is ORF-1020X-Serif orbital. It's one of the many research orbitals that used to be over this planet to do, like, atmospheric research and stuff. But, well, how do I describe it? At this point, Yu chimes in. They at least ran up. That's what happened. Basically, they did their research, and then their grant ran out, and as opposed to taking the whole thing with them, they just sort of left it, hoping they could sell it at some point. So, here we are. The structure itself is quite resilient. It's actually made by synthetics, so the whole thing is designed as a giant computer network. Basically, this thing is one giant processor. It also has a surprisingly powerful reactor, because its entire reactor complex is off-boarded from it. These giant solar collectors and all these smaller satellites are part of a massive microwave collector grid. They all take solar energy and then beam it to the structure itself. So this thing has no internal reactor complexes. It's all external and very resilient. The big trick is with this thing, while it is large and has a fair bit of living conditions, easily could be internally terraformed for almost nothing. The biggest issue you'll be running into with it is that it is extremely expensive to expand. You do have a fair bit to work with in here, but if you ever want to go beyond it, it'll be extraordinarily expensive to do so. This thing is running for 5 million current, but if you ever want to expand it, it would basically cost the same cost as the space station to do so again. Just be aware of that. However, what you do get is an incredibly intelligent machine. If you want to do any processing work or research, you couldn't ask for a better platform. Just be aware of that. It does come with some inherent issues. So, that's Seraph. We have one other location I can show you as well while we're here. It's a planetary location, though. So...
Zenith's looking around at this one being like, Zenith likes this one.
It's pretty nice, I will admit. If you all don't purchase this, I might at some point, but we'll see how that goes. I'm looking to move at least off the planet's surface a little bit. What can I say? Now that everyone's sort of digging around in the guts of my old ship, I'd rather not be there. You know, a little more discretion. And living on the space station here only does so well. A nice orbital would be a pleasant change of pace.
You could always still join us.
No thank you. You really don't need the notoriety of me being on your ship. And Voyagers like to dig into secrets, and I like my secrets, thank you very much. So, you guys transfer from your little shuttle to a larger haul ship that goes between planets. Takes about 6 hours for a very, there's a specific, what the proper term would be a pinch point spacefold location, where these things are literally just like transit buses. They're super small, they're made to spacefold from point A to point B and only on a fixed route, so they never have to deal with space travel, with other spacefolding traffic. It's basically a monorail between the star system.
Monorail.
So this points you out near another planet in this system, actually. And that planet is really barely, it's... How do I describe this? It is a massive gas giant. We're talking roughly the size of, I would say, Uranus. Somewhere Uranus, Saturn, in that ballpark. Not as big as they can get. It's not a supermassive gas giant. It's pretty average standard, but compared to a terrestrial world, it's huge. However, it's surrounded by a swarm of moons. This thing has at least 40 moons orbiting it. And one moon in particular is where the little ship that you guys sort of detach from heads over. Icy and cold and tiny, a little lopsided in its shape. It looks practically more like an asteroid that was captured, or a comet maybe. But as you get closer, and a little lander detaches that you guys can ride, it takes you all down to the surface, you see what appears to be a large crater. And when you fly into it, there's this little orbital, this little outpost location. As you guys land and settle down, the interior of this large chamber actually does have grass in it. There's a nice carpet of green moss on the ground. And within it, it's not super cold. It's like, I'd say 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So, pretty manageable. I realize I'm putting that on you. I think that would be...
4 degrees.
4 degrees. There you go. Yeah, it's been hot.
In Celsius.
Yes, there we go.
So,
Yeah, so it's cold by our planet standards, not super cold by space travel. So, and there's, like I said, moss and plants and stuff growing on, and a couple of small rounded structures in this place. And in the center of this chamber, a large, what almost looks like icy monolith, and this shining bright blue crystal in the middle that illuminates the whole chasm within with this soft blue light. Almost like daylight a little bit. A little awful. More like moonlight. At this point, Hayu just hands you guys the clipboard. This is Trumsky 2F. This is a small planet, a small planetoid, and still in the free march. It was originally a research outpost. Originally. Until they realized just no one cared, and they sort of bailed. Other research prospects showed up in the area, and so they went there. Which leaves this surprisingly self-sufficient little settlement behind. The good news is, Trumsky 2F is volcanic in nature, so it has a magnetosphere, so you're not going to get irradiated. Already a good start. 2, it's buried under ice, so if anyone were to discover you, you're at least protected somewhat by a significant amount of rock overhead, combined with all the glacier. And finding you'll be difficult in the first place. You're completely underground, making you very difficult to track from orbit. In fact, actually, Trumsky 2F was almost completely lost for the better part of 3 years, simply because the last owner failed to record its location and hand it off to the next one. And it took about 6 months of surveying the planet to find it again. So, if you're looking for somewhere that can be secretive, you can't do much better than this icy hellhole. Plus, in its center, you might notice that very pretty little bauble right there, and he gestures at the crystal. The planet's volcanics are unique. Something about its crust creates these naturally forming I think the term is chemovoltaic crystals. These things generate light and can actually be tapped for electrical power, providing any settlements around them a natural source of electricity. This base basically comes with its own reactor system. Those glowing columns over there, they look like reactors. They're not. They're capacitors.
So no allergens, energy, secretive. Sounds pretty good to me.
The big thing is the surface, and also the fact that you're trapped underground. This might as well be an orbital, as far as, like, creature comforts are concerned. At least there's a little bit of green in the area, but if you go onto the surface temperatures range anywhere from, depending on the day, -5 degrees Celsius to -58 degrees Celsius, and the wind chill can drop at a further 20. So you want to be very careful being out there.
So will our enemies.
It has some advantages, but if you're looking for secrecy and convenience, it works pretty well. Your biggest issue is going to be, again, keeping people from going nuts. I'm sure the clique will be quite at home here, but for the average person, little bit cagey.
That's what karaoke night's for.
I leave that to you all to decide how you want to handle it. But it is an option. This whole place is actually pretty cheap, all things considered. Go to our player bases here. So, Tromsky 2F actually will only run you about 4 million current, which is pretty good as far as a planetary base goes. And you're not going to have to worry about neighbors. This planet is basically abandoned. All that's left of this little planetoid is here, and whatever you decide to build. We have one more prospect to show you, but it's not in system. So if you're all willing to take a quick trip with me, I've arranged fast transport for us. Something very swift. Don't tell anyone I did this. This is entirely off the books.
Your secret negotiations are safe with us.
Very well, then. And he whispers into his wrist link, and there's a pop nearby, like a very light pop. And I'm going to say, at this exact moment, with a flash of light, a humanoid figure is standing within 20 feet of you. The ground around them is scorched. And at this point, they look up, and that is an Anazali hero standing there looking at you guys. We've been going for a bit. Does anyone need to go to the bathroom or want to take a quick
Beg your pardon.
After that, yeah, I do need to go to the bathroom.
Yep, so I think we'll take this moment to go and get ourselves like a quick 5-minute bathroom break. So if you guys need to do that, go ahead and take care of yourselves.
I need more tea for this.
See, it's just like...
It is the
where's
most
my
English
whiskey?
approach I could possibly have. Like, tea.
Alrighty. Alright, so we'll be right back in about 5 minutes, chat. This will give us all a chance to go touch up our tea, go to the bathroom, do our business.
No, I'm not touching tea, I'm making it.
That's fair.
What
Even
you
better.
want for dinner?
I have no idea. I can make it later.
Okay.
I'll figure it out afterward.
I mean, I figured because it's break.
Yeah, exactly.
Just chat.
Yeah, that's fair. We're just chatting at this point. So, chat, we're all here. Still, at least I'm still here. So we're just going to vibe. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. And I'm doing pretty good, Koopa, just to let you know. And also, for everyone who's currently in chat, thank you guys who've been here. So let's see. Can we take a moment to appreciate... This is Sir Bones. Can you take a moment to appreciate how much detail you put in the descriptions of these places? It's really impressive. Thank you, Sir Bones. I really appreciate that. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of effort went into making this setting and this world. In fairness, it wasn't all at once. It was many decades of effort went into this. 2 decades of effort of playing with my fellow friends and, you know, just kind of making these things naturally. It just sort of turned out that way. And yes, like mechanical mitosis. That's pretty much a good way to describe the self-replication, basically. It's literally just like these things that are basically made to manufacture themselves. How else are you gonna basically like take care of terraforming or like exploiting an entire asteroid belt? You basically make a thing that can replicate itself. Or at least, you know, that has the capacity to build more of itself.
Whenever you say replicate, I just think of the replicators.
That's where you have to draw a line. Thankfully, they're not replicators. They're not self-aware autonomous machines. They are literally just space stations that have a make another button.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, it's literally just has the ability to duplicate itself if it's properly directed to do so, and it has the crew to manufacture it, and the equipment attached. Unlike most orbitals, which had to be like made at large, like orbital forges or foundries, these things have the capacity to make themselves again, which is actually pretty freaking convenient. And they're designed to actually do so, which is very convenient as well. They're designed specifically to network into larger groups. So, yeah, that's always fun. Let's see if I can...
Someday I will show you the show Ruby solely for certain tech, like, designs and stuff, because you remind me of that.
Oh, man. That's, Ruby. That's a...
It has some problems,
I'm
but it has some good stuff.
I'm not judging. Look, I've found many things that I've liked over the years that aren't perfect. And you just kind of deal with it. You enjoy it. Right? That's the whole point. You have fun with it.
You are not giving us Merrick!
No, I'm not getting
Okay,
this
I was
right.
gonna say.
No, I not now. Not this way. Hell no.
Okay. That was gonna be hilarious. Just fucking hi you.
No, I'm already doing a big no-no with this, but I wanted to just for the fun of it. And I want to make sure I got the name right, because it's been a really long time since I've done this. Really long time, my god. Where are you? Where did I put you? I just gotta find my old details. My old notepad. I do not have enough dedication or attention span to work on something like this for as long as you have. Labor of love. It makes it a lot easier to do something if you're doing it for fun. I would have been doing it anyway, so it just happened to shake out pretty well for me. But yeah, no, I get that. If someone was just like, hey, start this project now, it's not for you, it's for me, I wouldn't be able to have done it. I had to do this all for myself. This is very much my baby. There we go, found him. I knew I had it here. There we go, and I can save that. Cool. Alright. I have everything I need to do what I gotta do. I'm going to take a moment to go to the bathroom while I got a chance. Please, chat, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them inside of the chat. I will address them when I come back. BRB. Mike is still hot. If you want to say anything, Mike.
I know you.
I know you too. And I don't know what we'll have tonight. We will figure that out. I'm still thinking on it. I'm going to be bandying that about in my head the rest of the evening for sure. Oh, buns and thighs. Buns and thighs.
Buns and thighs. Welcome back.
I have a tiny cucumber.
I thought it was a pickle.
No. No, but when I was pregnant, I did love those. To the point of, Paul went out and bought me 2 jars, and I sat and ate a whole jar full in one sitting, just like...
Nice. Apparently, my mom was like beefaroni and mayo sandwiches for some reason.
Yeah, no, I was big on pickles, spicy things. Like, again, I'd sit there with a jar of, like, jalapenos, like, yum. I don't really like spice. That, and cereal. Like, ice cold milk and cereal.
Nice.
I'd have, like, 5 bowls a day, given the choice, like, just cereal.
You are matter printing a person.
Mm-hmm. And that's tiring. I discovered that too.
I love how the dog is still like, you're eating something. It is vegetable, but still.
Oh, he loves these.
Nice.
Okay, I'm not getting sad eyes off everyone else because there's the 2 dogs behind me who didn't get one. Their favourite jar.
Immediately jumps up.
Darcy, are you going to practice what we did? Are you going to throw hands? Oh, come on. Darcy is giant queen. You don't get one, you had cucumber. Please.
Alrighty, I am back, and we're just waiting for JJ.
I am being guilt-tripped by a bunch of dogs.
So I have noticed those babies doing their job.
My babies.
At least they're behaving,
Fine.
like they're waiting.
That's it. And reset.
Nice.
And Jackson Paul. And Lucky Paul. Yes, Darcy, all of your paws. You're gonna fall
Okay,
off the
I'm gonna
bed.
let everyone else see what's going on. Look at that. That's very cute. That is
Darcy,
a
that's
lot
the
of
edge of the bed.
dogs.
You're gonna fall off it. We have 3. Loki is a Labrador Spaniel combo. Jackson is a Border Collie Lurcher. This one, who, to give you a hint of the size, Darcy up. This is Darcy.
Aw.
She's what happens if you smush a poodle and a St. Bernard together.
Oh, that sounds like a very intelligent, probably too intelligent for its own good dog.
Yeah, she's not. She's not.
She got the other sides of both coins.
She got the other side. She is, yeah, no, I'm fairly sure she lost the other brain cell she was meant to rub together with the other with one of them to make it work. We do refer to her as an eldritch horror because she is very expressive and she has a saggy face. She looks at you like she judges you. Right, out the way, madam.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Clearly, we are back yet again with more Legacy First Flight. Again, a gentle reminder, if you are watching this, please make sure you like, subscribe, comment, It helps the channel grow. If you want to keep helping my content grow, you can go subscribe to my Patreon right below, or at very least follow it. If you've liked my webcomics, since I am the same guy that does Gentry Delon Ain't No Fascist, and also Brothers, A Tale of Treachery and Doom, my Space Marine webcomic, and my Helldivers 2 webcomic, inversely, please, you can go subscribe there and read the whole thing for free. The most recent episode is up 2 weeks early for my patrons at any level of payment. But any support you guys give me, whether it's just likes, comments, and subscribes here, or actual money on Patreon, all of it means something. Thank you all so much. You're all incredible. Let's get back to Legacy First Flight and have some fun with it. So, with that, we are... Let me just pop this back in.
Back to the hero.
Yes, we're back to the hero. So, as I mentioned before, right before I cut us off.
Yeah, Becky will lean over to Hayu and just be like, when did you get him on speed dial?
That's an interesting question. Why don't we address that, shall we? I feel some introductions are in order. So let's do them quickly.
You don't say.
Just a
It's
few.
just like another thing. It's just another thing at this point.
You joined the Voyagers, you know. Another Tuesday.
So,
I don't recall my last time with the Voyagers being this surprising so swiftly.
We're special.
you can see Cogsworth sort of next to you look up and just sort of... Yeah, they kind of attract all sorts of crazy shit really quickly. I don't know how else to describe it, to be honest with you.
Hey, you profit.
I'm
Not saying I'm disagreeing with that.
I am discovering that.
Yeah. So, then he just sort of gestures, Master Anazali, if I may, and the Anazali sort of turns to look at you guys. His suit is actually rather unique. Most Anazali heroes wear pitch black. His uniform is almost completely white, actually. Like a stark grayish white. He does have, like, glowing accents across most of them, but they seem to, like, range their colors wildly from one to the next. And so, in this particular instance, as he's sort of looking at you, they sort of nod. Actually, I shouldn't even say he. You really don't know what, like, gender or ethnic or, like, anything, what identity they might have. The suit basically removes all of it. But beneath it, you can see a pair of eyes that sort of, like, scintillate through the color spectrum slowly. RGB effect style. Hello, apologies for the sudden intrusion. Hayu, what the hell? I was busy. And you can see that you just sort of... I'm sorry, I needed a hand, and I believe it was, what, 2 weeks ago? You still owe me for that hand of poker you lost? And he just sort of, like, crosses his arms. Yes, I, figured you weren't going to haul that in. Are you going to use me as just a common method of transport again? Is that the plan? Because I've got to say, I'm almost embarrassed with your lack of imagination. Hello, all the rest of you. Daenrelager, Lightborn, can we get on with this? I have shit to do.
It's like, it's up to you. Like,
Yeah. Please, yeah, go ahead, lead the way. Wow.
Xena sort of inclines like,
and Becky kind of does the hand thing where she's like, I kind of want to take it apart.
So, quick little visual description here, like I said. Besides the white suit and the scintillating colors, Dan stands roughly about 6 flat in terms of height. You can tell just like from
He's
the
only
posture.
3 inches taller than me.
Yeah, he's not that tall. Anazali heroes are terrifying and impressive in many ways, but physicality-wise, they're basically just normal people. And so, as a result, what's going on with that? Oh, I see what's going on. So yeah, you can just sort of see that, like, his posture is pretty straight, and not super stiff though, like very flexible. He carries himself very comfortably. I'm gonna make. Actually, I think all three of you justify this role. Your choice of intellect or a social role of your choice. If anyone has any history relating like roles or modifiers they'd like to use, please feel free.
I say I've got the Anazali Imperial background bits.
100% that applies.
Nope.
Yay.
What? Say the roles again. A social role or a what?
It's either a social role or intelligence. So it's like a flat intelligence role for like just basic knowledge.
Wait, social separate?
Intelligence.
Yeah, I'm saying you could use a social role or an intelligence role.
Okay.
Because this is like such commonly held knowledge, you might have actually just chatted about this at one point.
Okay. Oh, that's terrible. Do look nice.
Okay. Let me know when everyone has their roles together. I'd like to hear them one at a time. Whoever wants to go first.
Would this fall under research or no?
I think research works. You can absolutely use a research role for this, if that would be.
If I can't do research, then I would like that, because that would be better than what I've got without it being research.
Okay, I'll let you make a research roll. JJ, I'll let you also use your negotiator die in addition to your research if you'd like, because this is actually very close to you, because the Anazali, in fact, were the ones who founded the original schools, the original colleges of negotiation. So for you, it's a historical thing that you actually have some knowledge on.
Okay, so we're doing our roll plus luck, and then plus my negotiator. Is that what I'm doing?
Yep. You'll be doing for you research roll, which is an intellect die and a luck die. Choose which one you want, and then you also get to roll your negotiator die, which you can add as a modifier.
Okay.
Could I also argue my academics then as well?
Absolutely, you could, because for you it's very much academic.
Okay, so I rolled a 10, my intellect, and then a 5 on both the luck and the negotiator, so...
So that would get you 15, because I'm
15?
presuming you're taking... Yeah, just the... Okay. And do you have any modifiers for the actual discipline?
No.
Okay, cool. So 15 for you. Becky, what did you get?
6, because I'm substituting Childa tomorrow.
Okay, that's fair. So you got a 6. That's something. And then finally, what did you get, Lolly?
It's a total of an 11, because I got, my intellect actual dice was really rubbish, so I used my luck dice, which rolled a 5. But if I'm adding my research, I've got 4 in that, plus knowledge for the Anazali thing, plus the academics.
Okay. So,
I might make an 11.
An 11? Okay. So, going from most knowledgeable to least knowledgeable. We'll start off with you. Becky.
You mean least to most?
What did I say?
You said most to least.
I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. I'm only 36. I shouldn't have dementia yet. Anyway.
Dementia?
Yes, I'm going insane. Anyway, we'll start from least knowledgeable to most knowledgeable. Becky, you're least. Your character is aware of the Anazali heroes. They are extremely rare. They are also an artifact of an ancient time. The Anazali don't talk about them very often. They're basically viewed by all the other species of the galaxy as walking tactical weaponry. They are not like a soldier. That's not a proper comparison. You've seen like cartoons and like stories of these guys. They're basically folk heroes where they fight like entire fleets of warships by themselves, without starships, without orbital platforms. They are capable themselves of going toe-to-toe with warships and fleets. And you know they are incredibly powerful. In the modern day, they're often sort of viewed as like these super, look at the edge, like, look at what one day maybe our species could do kind of a deal. So, in a way, they're sort of celebrated as defenders, the final defenders of the Union. The final hammer in our defense. So that's what you would know them as. And you know also there's very few of them. Like, you don't know how many, but it's not a large number. Next up, we're going to go to Zenith. Zenith, You are very aware of who this is, or at least in terms of, like, certain basics. As an Anazali who grew up during the Imperial, you know way more than most people do about heroes because you actually live with them. First things first. The heroes weren't just tactical weapons. They were once tactical terror weapons. These heroes were basically made by indoctrinating individual Anazali and attaching them to a symbiotic warsuit that literally merges with their physiology. A hero can no more take off their suit than I could remove one of my lungs and survive. By myself. Like, surgically I could, but, like, you know. If I were to pull my heart out...
would stink,
Yeah, if I pulled my heart out through my chest, it'd be roughly as survivable as separating an Anazali hero from their warsuit. Their warsuits are called mantles, by the way. There used to be tons of them. Roughly like 500. Nowadays, they're down to 5. Unfortunately, they can't be recreated. Because every time an Anazali hero dies, their suit teleports back to your homeworld. Your homeworld, which is lost. So, whenever an Anazali hero dies, their mantle teleports back to wherever your homeworld is and sits in situ waiting for another wielder, who will never show up. So as far as the Anazali are concerned, these last 5 are the last 5. So, there's that. In terms of, like, how dangerous they are, Anazali heroes are literally tactical terror weapons because they are actually the equivalent of an army. Your people basically had 2 ways of waging war. Orbital bombardment through fleet, or send a single Anazali hero down to punitively punish the population until they concede. They are terrifying, and each of them is built around a specific form of warfare, utilizing a specific type of science, which you guys, in the modern day, use a very much rudimentary version of that for your rigs. Like what Bond's character uses to manipulate, you know, science and the environment around her. That's basically what these things do, only on, like, an insane degree. Anazali heroes are so powerful they can teleport. They can actually spacefold individually like starships, and do so repeatedly. They are strong enough to tear mechs apart with their bare hands. They can survive nuclear explosions. These guys literally are so horrifying that to measure how dangerous they are, the Anazali used the old metric, which still is to this day used, of fleet strengths. You do not measure an Anazali hero in terms of how much they can bench. You measure them in how much tactical warfare it requires to kill them. And Anazali heroes take about 10 to 20 fleet strengths. So that is carrier groups. It takes 10 to 20 carrier groups to kill one of these guys. Reliably. So yeah, you're basically standing in the presence of what would be an entire planet's military. I'd say an entire, like, some sectors have smaller militaries than an Anazali hero has. So, just putting that out there. So you're
Yeah, she is responding accordingly, and it's kind of like... oh.
Now, you would also finally know, like I mentioned, these guys being terror weapons, that's the reason the Anazali aren't too keen to talk about them. They're kind of your people's biggest walking mistake. Back during the Imperial, they were just soldiers, as far as the average Imperial citizen is concerned. Now, they're survivors, along with you guys. Only 5 survived the fall of the Imperial. And no 5 have ever had to live this long continuously. Most of them, they died before this point, and were replaced. Now, these Anazali heroes have been wearing their mantles for thousands of years. And every single mantle has the aggregate personality and intellect of every hero who wore it before them. In their head is a cacophony of screaming, vengeful ghosts, constantly telling them how they can kill everything around them. The process inevitably drives people mad. This hero is very clearly younger because he's still talking coherently. That should put that in perspective.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah. So, that's all you would know. They are, to the Anazali, terrifying specters of violence. They are also probably the last of your people's most powerful weaponry.
And Becky's just like, ooh, shiny.
Yeah, to the average person, the guys are like, "Oh, cool! Look at these awesome folk hero action figures." To you guys, you're like, "Oh yeah, those guys are literally walking genocide machines."
Yeah, when Aunt Becky said doing the ooh hands, it's just sort of like.
Now, Amaya, you would know more than the other two combined for one simple reason: you studied them more recently. After all, you went to a negotiators college. And negotiator colleges were all founded by what was once the Anazali Imperiale, now a remnant. So there's always like a little bit of Anazali history in there. Of the 5 remaining Anazali heroes, you're talking to the youngest one. So the youngest one, as we mentioned, Dane. Dane is what's referred is by their title known as the Lightborn. Each mantle themselves is specifically sort of takes its own personality over time. Technically, each Anazali hero's mantle can theoretically do what any other could. They're all the same technology. However, after being worn by hundreds of different individuals and fought in many different environments, they sort of develop foibles and unique capacities. They literally are learning machines, and their pilots are a part of them. And so, as a result, the Lightborn has the rather unique ability to manipulate photons on a subatomic level, directly. They can do this to become completely invisible. They can use it to literally funnel light into weaponry, which is where the term Lightborn comes from. They can turn themselves into photons, disorganize their own molecules, and program them to become photons and move under the direction, making them literally one of the only things in the entire universe that we're aware of that can move at the speed of light, willfully, and then reassemble themselves at another location. Of all 5 of the Anazali Imperiale's heroes, Dane is the youngest because his predecessor was killed during the abandonment of their world. Dane's predecessor died defending their fleet, and Dane went back for his mantle and took it and fled the planet with it. He was literally the last guy on the Anazali Imperiale's homeworld before they escaped. He is actually only 3,000 years old. Only 3,000 years old. It also makes him the youngest Anazali to ever wear a mantle, ever.
He's only 800 years older than Zenith.
Mm-hmm.
You little baby.
Yeah, when he put on his mantle, he was under 1,000 years old. That's considered weird. All Anazali heroes normally have to wait until they're 1,000 before they're allowed to take a chance and bond with a mantle. He didn't have that opportunity to go through all his training, and he willfully went back and seized it. In fact, he's probably the only reason there's 5 mantles left in the galaxy at this point, and not only 4. At this point, he currently works directly for the Union, and if he's here, it means the Union sent him here. He primarily runs security, and he tends to also run relief and aid. So you suspect he actually is in the sector because of what just happened on Evanti Prime. Which might be how he met How You. So there you go. That's the full details you know.
Okay.
Alright. Big lore dump there. So,
As we're all just taking this in.
Yeah.
And breathe.
Yes. So, Dane kind of just shrugs and... Also, by the way, if any of you do decide to play How You, he cheats. He cheats so much.
Isn't that the part of, that point of poker?
I guess. I suppose. Look, I'm just saying, I can literally see around corners and I know you were lying. I know you were lying about what was in your hand. And how you used to sort of like, yeah. I'm sure you have all your many reasonable explanations for how a 3,000-year-old can suck so bad at poker, but it's not my problem. Let's get back to where we were. I believe you owe me a ride. Would you be so kind as to take a few others? And sort of looks around at the 5 of you, because technically it's 5 of you. 6 of you, actually, if we count Cogsworth. Yes, that's fine. I don't mind it. I can spare roughly about 2 hours. So, if you're all willing to let me chauffeur you, please stand close. I'd rather not take too much of the terrain with us.
Meanwhile, Becky's just like, the armor! The armor!
Xena's just like, I'm gonna just hold around you. Look at this hug you're getting. Hold your hands still, don't touch.
So how you stands close, and so does the clique, and everyone's sort of like, and you can see like as Dane sort of holds their hand out and draws like a line around you, literally like his finger as he holds it out, it traces a holographic line of light. He's like, if you're further out than that, you're probably not going to have a good time.
Oh. I think Amaya will like, Amaya will like squish back against Becky.
Just into a little.
Just like a little. Make myself as little as possible.
So as you guys all like get close enough, he looks at how you. So where are we going again? How you sort of looks up. Yeah, well, I believe where we're heading to next, if my notes are correct, is. Sorry about this. Just taking a look at my notes a little more closely. I sort of smudged it a little bit right there. Can you read that? And he like holds it up, and Dane just sort of like, how are you, for the love of God, get a wrist link. Right. I know that world. Okay. Everyone hold tight, and there's a soft, like, pop in your inner ears, for those of you who possess them. And for you, as an Oraname, Amaya, you actually feel the pressure difference briefly on your body, across your whole membrane. And 1 second you're in this cold, little icy chamber, and the next, you're on a mountainside. You don't even recognize where. The sky is dark, and above you is a whole bunch of beautiful stars passing overhead.
Time hasn't dilated, right?
At this point, like, you know, you can all like get sort of stretch out a little bit, and Dane turns to you. No, space folding occurs outside of space and time, so technically you went back in time a quarter of a second in the strictest sense. By the way, you guys, as you like step down, realize you're a little elevated above the ground around you, because below you is a little hunk of what the planet you were standing on was. Like, there's a little bit of like ice and moss that just sort of like as it finally like clicks in. Welcome to Narasu 3, free march planetary territory, and largely abandoned by everybody. How are you? I really want to get back to my work. I'm just gonna be on call if you need me. Do you mind if I ask, who are all of you? I realize I was very rude and I didn't introduce myself and then ask for your introductions. Who are all of you?
I think you're cool enough you don't need an introduction. As Becky's like sketching the armor in her light, like, I need to learn these blueprints.
Amaya would step up, extend a hand, and be like, "We're Voyagers. We're from what's our thing? Forge Tender?
Yeah.
Fire Team Forge Tender.
Fire Team.
Just
We
remember
are
the chicken
fucking
tendies.
Tender.
I hate that that's how you remember it.
I was like, aren't we Forge Tender something? Yeah.
We are.
Okay,
yeah.
so we're Fire Team Forge Tender. I'm Amaya. This is Becky, Claxon, Zenith, and Louie. Oh, and Cogsworth, and then you know how you.
Oh, wait, you were the ones on... You were on Evanti Prime, weren't you? You recently had just arrived there.
Yep.
Yes.
I heard a few talkings of you during my debrief. Nothing negative, by the way.
I was going to say, hope all good.
All good. Not to mention...
A surprise.
Well, Oren's an old friend, and... He hasn't mentioned you directly, but he has been talking about rather new promising candidates. And there's a little scuttlebutt going on around amongst the heroes. I hope you don't mind me asking. It's very private, and you're allowed to say no. But I figure, as he gestures around you guys to the literally, like, empty alpine mountains you're standing in, we're not going to get any quieter. Are you the ones with the stellar forge?
Becky will
I
actually
plead
look
the
to Amaya for this. Just like,
yeah. I'll be like, you said Orin is a good friend, right? If that's the case, I think you might know that answer already. And then she's just gonna leave it like that. Like, I'm not gonna say yes or no. I'll just leave it like open.
The most diplomatic way of saying, you know what you know.
Yeah.
His face is mostly obscured by his relatively opaque helmet, as many Anazali helms are. However, beneath you can see the glow of his eyes, and they sort of like pull up a little bit in sort of a smirk. Good answer. Alright. Yes, I am friends with Orin. We go way back. Actually, Orin was my tutor for a while.
in poker? That was a joke.
You're funny. I like you. No,
It gets old.
in this. And he holds out his hands and, like, he gestures to his mantle. So, for a brief while, Orin was a hero candidate. I don't know if he talked to you all about that. I'm sure at some point it'll come up, but he actually was the one who trained me. So, friends of friends. If it makes you all feel any better, mum's the word. There's only 5 of us left, and we're not exactly sharing that knowledge outside of ourselves. So, I promise, not a word. How are you?
Appreciate that.
Of course. How are you? Treat them well. And please, don't ever make yourselves my problem.
Likewise.
No intention of doing so.
Amaya's just gonna write in her little wrist link. Orin gets cooler the more I learn about him.
Right. How are you? When you need me, wrist link me and I'll take you, I presume, back to, I'm guessing you want to go back to, I believe it was Verde, right? It's Verde. Yes, I would love that very much, thank you. And there's just this little, and he just disappears, like someone popped a bubble, and he just ceases to exist near you.
It's like, one day I'm gonna build something that cool.
How you turns around and looks at you, I would kill for your confidence. I really would. Welcome to our...
It's a human thing. They all seem to have this zazz going on.
Is it an Anazali thing to be so rude?
Yes, it is.
Figured.
And next to the two of you, you can see just like Cogsworth sort of just like getting a little bit like uncomfortable, like stiffening up a little more, like leaning away.
The other two are like, we're good, we're past it.
Right. So, welcome to Narasu 3. This.
I love his enthusiasm.
So, Narasu 3. As I take you guys and move you to the base location so you all can see it. Narasu 3 is an alpine world and a rather pretty one as well. Show to all players, thank you. Standing where you guys are, you're on the side of a mountain. It's pretty big. Like, it's not the hugest mountain in the world. So we're not talking like Mount Everest, but we're talking like mid-Appalachians here. So, like, relatively tall, under like a kilometer tall, but significant enough where if you were to hike these things, it would be quite tiring for a long period of time. And where you are standing, there's like this sort of almost plateau-ish area around you, where the mountains kind of like slide down, almost like a rock slide, and then flatten out, where the weathering and time is sort of pounded into a flat plane. And you can notice that like in front of you is, in this rather normal like rock face, surrounded by various trees, most of them appear to be evergreens of various varieties, is this very clearly not organic structure carved into the wall. This almost like squarish kind of shape, which is very clearly a garage. And above the garage and around it, you can see like carved into this rock face, very discreetly, is a bunch of like almost sort of like windows and peepholes, big enough for a person to stand in and look out of, but from a distance they almost look like pinpricks. there is like a very soft, pale orange light coming from within, which implies someone left the lights on, literally. So, Narasu 3, an interesting little planet, originally settled by the Joint Syndicate Authority. Its whole purpose? Attempt to exploit its resources, build a colony, chop down wood, make whatever goods they can make here, mine all the planet's, planet's mountains, the usual big business affair on Colony World thing. Funny thing, though, the Evanti Sector's full of incredible worlds with so many resources, and Narasu 3 just kind of doesn't stack up. It's not necessarily that it doesn't have them, it's just not as good at producing lumber as some worlds, or not as good at producing minerals as other worlds, and so it just sort of fell by the wayside, not particularly easy to exploit in any one direction, and sort of ignored by most of the major corporations in the JSA. This thing's been on their books for the better part of, like, 2.5 years, just languishing. Doesn't hurt that also, they have a little bit of a problem on this world. This world was settled by the JSA after the Common Oceans had already been here for a while. Not all of them, mind you. Technically this is a free march, and not declared Common Ocean territory. However, don't tell that to the Common Ocean neighbors. As far as they're concerned, they are Common Ocean. And so, while the JSA tried to, various times, attempt different methods of exploitation, they always failed, and they were constantly fighting and feuding with the locals. So the JSA kind of just put a do not go sticker on this file and filed it away for purchase. They're actually eager to get rid of it, as far as I can tell. Had to make actual contact with Horak about this one. He's actually pulled this out of the normal files. As far as I can tell, he's been holding it in his back pocket for a while. So, this world is pretty open for purchase. Good news, as you can tell, breathable atmosphere for pretty much all species of the Union, except for me, and it's not toxic to me, so I'm good with that. 2, as a result of that, you don't have to worry about people being cooped up. It's a beautiful planet. I hear there's actually a hiking path that was established by one of the initial colonists several years back, just down there. There's a number of rovers and easy transports around this place, and it has the ability to get whatever resources you need as long as you're willing to do a little digging for it. It has materials, and it has minerals, and exploitable resources, just no one's done it yet. And then finally, as I understand, you all seem to have taken a bit of a shining to the Common Oceans. There's some guessing your mindset, but I'm just gonna, pretty decent at that. If you wanted to make inroads with the Common Oceans, you got neighbors all ready for that. And how, as far as I'm concerned, I think they might even be looking for jobs. So if you're interested in hiring some Common Ocean security, and just tell them that their job is going to be to basically spin in the eye of anybody who comes to fuck with this planet, I can't imagine they'll say no. So, here you go. There's your benefits. Beautiful location, relatively abandoned, going for a reasonable price. It's sitting about 4 million current, but worth it. So there's your 4 properties, folks. Your choice. Do you want the orbital assembly devices that can create a whole swarm of satellites out of damn near nothing? Do you want the advanced research station? Do you want the icy little ball that's very discreet and well hidden with natural reactors? Or do you want the beautiful, lush mountain world that's been more or less left by the wayside with potential Common Ocean allies?
I like the ice, but the benefits where we are currently kind of outweigh that.
And at this point, I'm going to say we can have this conversation in character or above table, because this is you guys actually deciding where your first planetary base is.
I vote Narasu now.
And also, for all you folks out there in chat wondering, wait, Louie, aka Paul Ampersand, and Claxon, aka K.O. Myers, isn't here. Don't they deserve to have a say? They do. I got their vote.
No.
So, I can make this official. I will say, K.O., actually favored Tromsky 2F,
Yeah.
the ice ball. But he's not super attached to it. He's willing to go with whatever. But that would be his first pick. Louis really liked Narasu 3, the world you're on now. However, he's also fine with Tromsky.
That sounds like we're all like leaning towards the cool one.
He's basically... he basically has... he likes this world, but has his second vote on Ice World. So now, it's up to you guys. Also, all your NPCs don't particularly favor one way or another, unless you were to press one of them, in which case I will make up a reason for them to lean one way or another. But this is you guys. You guys are the ones who have to live with this shit. They're all characters made out of dice and paper.
I guess we probably should have talked. This is me saying above table. We probably should have talked about what each of our characters really wants from a base, and where we could possibly provide that. Because, like, obviously, did we talk about the expansion for the Narasu? If we wanted to expand,
Okay.
go over that. I missed that.
So, the funny thing is, Narasu is being a planetary outpost. It actually costs almost nothing to expand it. Basically, most planetary outposts, their big advantage is that expansion costs next to nothing. Like, enough where I would say it's a rounding error for your base's, like, logistics department. So, literally nothing. You just need to actually establish it. The big detriment to them is they can't move. So, like, expand as much as you want, but be aware if someone has your address, they have your address. Whereas orbitals, you need to pay to expand, but they can move. So.
But now, because we have the Kaminoshans near us, if we gain favor, they can also chime in to help.
I also figure I'll mention this in the future, too. You guys aren't limited to one player base.
Right.
If in time you guys get enough resources and money, you can easily get another one. Consider these options perma options until I say otherwise. So if you guys, like, whenever you guys are ready in the market for another base, I'll cook up new options, but you can probably bet that the ones you don't take will likely be there. The only one that might not be there is the Seraph Station, and that's just because, you know, how you's kind of looking at it as a maybe.
Yeah. I think right now, Amaya would be between Tromsky and Narazu.
Mm-hmm.
Just because she likes the fact that Tromsky's kind of isolated, it's kind of like secret, nobody really has our address, so that will keep us protected. But then she also does like the potential to build better relationships with the Kaminoshan people. So it's kind of for her, it's kind of a does she want secrecy more, or does she want to build those relations with the Kaminoshan more? Like, so she's kind of like, do I want my guys to be safe, or do I want us to be kind of a little bit out in the open, but we make better relationships with our neighbors, especially as the Kaminoshans are people who we're trying to settle this area and bring peace to the area. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know which one she would be leaning more to, but it's between those two options at least for Amaya.
That's fair. Lolly, what about you? What's your perspective?
So, for Zenith, it's kind of that thing of it doesn't occur to her to look at a planet base first. It just that isn't the first thing that comes to mind, because I mean, for her, why would it be?
Right.
Like, she spent most of her life on a ship, so it doesn't automatically go, yeah, planet base. It's like, oh yeah, that is a thing people do. Ah, weirdos.
Quarian being like, why?
I mean, basically, yeah, right? Like, you guys, like, they are more or less like Quarians, for all intents. So.
But she'd also see the majority is that, okay, these guys all seem pretty attached to being somewhere on a ground. Fine. Okay. not that attached to being on a ship if that's not going to gel.
I mean, she probably also realizes that we're going to be on missions all the time.
Yeah, like, she's kind of like, okay, fine, sure, whatever. Like, lovely, shiny, lovely ship, but fine.
Yeah, the garbage will do.
I also have a suggestion I can make to you guys.
Yeah.
You guys have a 10 million current stipend for establishing a base. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of hoopla. All of these bases come in at under under 5 million current. So Narasu comes in at 4 million, Tromsky comes in at 3, and the Skira orbital mining orbital comes in at 3. Theoretically, that'd be enough where if you wanted to get one of the mining orbital and get one of the planets, you could do both. Your call.
Super not married to the mining orbital, to the idea of that one.
Okay.
If it was going to be an orbital, it was definitely the Seraph that she had her eye on.
It is very pretty. It is very pretty.
Very shiny.
Very nice.
No, if it's between the two planet-based ones, I'm not good at words. Planetary bases. Tromsky, the IC place, will have her vote because isolation is good. Okay. I don't want neighbours. Ew! I don't even like having people live with people, so...
In which case Becky would immediately be like, yeah, no, Narasu, yeah?
So yeah, her vote, the primary vote would be Tromsky, however... So fine, I don't... She doesn't seek out the interaction enough for it to be an issue, so if, again, people like Narasu, they like the, being near other people thing, yeah, they're fine.
Oh my gosh.
Ones I don't have to talk to them.
No, this means we're tied. We're tied 2 for 2. Which
No!
means I have to be the icebreaker. No!
Flip the die.
So right now, I've got Zenith. Your first choice, your character's first choice would have been the Seraph Orbital. And then second choice, if we have to go by a planet, is Tromsky 2. We have Louis' first choice is Narasu. Second choice, Tromsky. We've got Klaxon's first choice is Tromsky. So, yeah, we're split right now. And then we have Becky, who's Narasu. So right now, the primary votes are split with basically between the two planets. Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. All right.
As a negotiator.
As effectively party leader, yeah. Like, you are effectively the party leader.
I think Zenith's perspective, like, considering that Amaya is turning into the final decision person, is going to be very much I'm not, like, you pick what, like, you're the negotiator, it's probably, go with what's most beneficial to you. Zenith can do her work any of these places. It won't impact her.
I feel like as a negotiator, she would want to pick Narazu, even though I personally like Stromsky.
Right, it's so cool.
Say what?
Right, it's so cool. I'm agreeing with you. It's really good.
Yeah.
If it helps, I'm the opposite. Me personally, I like Narazu, but I know that it's not what Zenith would like.
I think for Amaya, either one is good because I feel like even with Tromsky being more like isolated, like Becky said, we got karaoke nights, we got have social events to keep people's spirits up. Plus, we're gonna be on a ship, leaving and coming and going, so we can get a lot of people. Like, we can switch out our workforce. Okay, you need a little break from being in this like isolated place. Let's go on a mission. We'll take you. We'll switch it out. Whatever. There's kind of solutions to that. Why don't we just, like any game, any TTRPG game, put it to chance, and I will just roll a d6, and then we will whatever it lands on. If it lands on 1, it's Tromsky. If it lands on 2, it's Narazu. Why don't we just do that?
Okay.
So odds will be Tromsky. Evens will be Narasu.
Yeah.
I'm down with it.
Even.
Let's go.
We'll just do that.
Let's see what it is.
And for the record, I'm going to put this out there.
My negotiation die.
Yep. Now that you have rolled this die, I'm going to give you two options. You don't have to tell us what you rolled.
Okay.
There's two ways to resolve this. One, let it fall as it falls. Or two, now that it's fallen and you see the result, do you want the other one?
Facts. All right, let's roll it.
Because that's how I usually do it. I roll the die and then I go, shit, am I disappointed? Am I okay?
Yeah, that's honestly, that's how Paul and I make decisions when we get in struggle. It's one of those, you have to do this one. And then we see, are you gutted by that or are you okay with it?
Yeah.
That's how you know.
Yep.
That's how you know.
Yep.
All right. Let's see what we do.
I love this chat. It makes me so happy. It makes
I'm
me
just
so
gonna roll. I'm just gonna roll it on roll 20.
Okay, roll 20.
Oh.
That's a one.
I guess it's
Natural
the
one.
ice it is.
So,
It's a nat one.
so
I'm
again,
not gutted. I'm not gutted. I'm gonna be honest with you.
you're not gutted. So you're good with Tromsky. You're good with
I'm
Tromsky
good with
2F.
I'm good with Tromsky.
Okay.
I guess I'll say it like in character. Like, all right. I think we should go with Tromsky. I think I like the fact that it's secretive. It's a little isolated. It's a little away from everybody. And at the end of the day, we are working with what is essentially a terrorist organization. Like that is what that's who we're dealing with. And I think the more we can cover ourselves and keep things on the down low, I think the safer we will be. Theoretically. I mean, I think we've been pretty lucky so far, but I think I prioritize your safety more than anything else.
Okay.
That's what I would say to the group.
Yeah. And Becky will agree, and then she'll be looking like, how many contracts to make up 4 million?
We can get base number 2, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, so again, let's take a look here. I actually again have the stats for these
No.
places up.
So if we have 10
you have
and
10
we just bought what, a 3?
You bought Tromsky.
3 million?
Yeah, 3 is, yeah.
I believe Tromsky is 3 million. No, it's 4 million.
Okay.
It's 4
okay,
million.
never mind.
4. Okay, so we have 6. So if Becky can just come up with 2, I think that would be squared. I think that will square us away nicely.
And
Because
for the
then if she
record,
makes up 2, we'll have like what, 8?
uh,
Yeah, we'll have 8.
yep.
Then we'll have 4 after she buys it. Yeah.
Fun fact: your stipend is specifically for building bases. You cannot use it in anything else. So it is earmarked money. So you have 10 million current in that stipend. It's 4 to get Tromsky, and Narasu 3 is also 4. So like literally financially, there's no distinction between the two.
Well, how? Okay, and they're pretty much like nothing to expand if we wanted to expand them.
They cost
Plus we're
nothing to
also-
expand. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, in that case, let's just buy both.
There you go. You get the nice green world and you get the frozen world. Nice.
Plus, isn't the green world, isn't that like wait, no.
No.
Yeah, isn't that further out? Like the one on the Narazu is like further out from the other ones. It's in a different system.
It's on
Correct.
the edge, yeah.
Yeah, Narasu is in its own part of the Free Marsh, whereas the other one is within Verde's system. So Tromsky is Tromsky's literally in Verde, in the same star system as Verde, and Narasu is in its own separate system, technically on the edge of common ocean space.
Okay, I actually like that. So yeah, let's just buy both then.
Hell yeah! All right.
I did the roll for just the plot, you guys. Come on.
I mean, to be fair, and that
Storyline,
one was
you know.
hilarious.
All right. I will add both of these then as purchased to your permanent list of bases,
Nice.
and I'm
It
gonna.
also means if anyone's getting a bit like cabin fevery of being in the icy place, like we can set up like a rotation.
That's
So
what-
okay,
yes.
you guys can kind of
Yes, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
switch out and be in the greenery for a bit.
We'll just yeah, that's a wonderful idea actually. We'll just say that. So we'll just be like, all right. After she makes her whopping speech about safety, we'll just be like, but
Let's have this many.
I also like the idea of us being outdoors in the green, being friendly.
But also, the safety spiel is still valid because I guarantee you, no matter what Becky tries to say, Del and Ray won't care about the greenery and therefore could primarily stay in the icy extra hidden place.
He'll care once
Yeah.
we're tight.
And
Yeah.
kind of thing, you know? So it's kind of the thing the thing we don't want people to generally find out about is still kept away.
Yes, absolutely.
Best of both worlds, literally.
Yeah. We're having our Hannah Montana moment right now.
I need to change the name of this episode from Foundations to Best of Both Worlds. I love that. That's great.
So yeah, we'll just say, yeah, safety is important, but it's also good to have it outside world to build relationships. And so I said, let's just make the decision to get both, and then if anything, we can always expand to an orbital later, if that's still something that we desire to do. And we're gonna make a sick research area for Zenith. So yeah, there's that. Okay.
Hell yeah. Alright, I love this. This is actually the best possible thing ever, because I worked
That
really
is a
hard on
good
all
way
the
to sweeten the deal of making her go somewhere that might have people involved.
Exactly.
Look how nice your research space is.
Everybody's gonna get what they want.
Does it have coffee facilities? Do I have to go out there? No. Excellent.
Right. Well then, if that's the case, sounds like we've all made up our minds. I'm very happy with the results. So if you'd all be so kind as to just sign right here, and he literally takes out a simple hollow panel and just like holds it out, and basically the signature is just like leave a biometric on it for everyone, just like a thumbprint, whatever you would normally use that's the equivalent, a dollop of like your cytoplasm. Yeah, exactly.
Acto. Jesus.
And after everyone sort of does their bit, he takes a look at it. All right, that's all in order for Tromsky. We just have one final thing to do for Narashu. So remember the way I said it's JSA territory? Or it was? You couldn't, maybe get one extra jump out of Dane, could you? You just see, like, just nearby, how you actually, at this point, had, like, reached up and just been, like, sort of, what appeared to be picking, like, an apple out of a nearby tree, and it sort of turns around. And just types onto his wrist link for a second. Grimaces a little from behind the mask. You can still see, like, the eyes moving. Yeah, I think we'll be good for that. Right. Could you take us on a quick detour to the Firewatch? We have business with the big man.
Ooh.
And so, we're gonna flip from this scene over to a different part of the region. Let's just go to...
Just gonna be like, Cox, what are you doing?
Trust me, I know what I'm up to. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this long enough. We don't gotta worry about it. You pop on over, and we open up a little bit of familiar art. So as you guys, there's another little pop, and Dane deposits you guys in a location I don't think you guys probably thought you were going to see so soon again.
Thank
but
you.
But once again, you are standing in the territory of, if this will ever do its job. There we go. Lorraine notes. My goodness, why is it so difficult to find what I need on this? I'm missing something. I know I'm missing something.
Oh no.
Disregard me and my horrible fuzzy brain. I don't know why it's doing
Did you already
this.
upload it?
I thought I did. We've been on this place before.
Yeah, it should be on Roll20.
Yeah, I know it is because you've looked at it before. We've been to this place. Physically been to this place. You'll have to pardon me, folks. My brain is doing that thing where it's misplacing stuff, and also I might be going insane. I hope I'm not going insane, but I might be going insane. There we go! I found it! Ha-ha!
Yay!
It took long enough. Poof. The worlds of Lavara and the Firewatch. Unlike last time where you had to go through an entire, like, landing sequence and all this other stuff, Here you just pop to the very tippy top of the tower, right outside of Horak's office. And Horak was on the gantry enjoying a nice coffee, and just there's a little pop, and he slowly turns to Shrek, and just like immediately throws like his teacup and the saucer just over the edge in his knee-jerk spasm.
Not my plan.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome, hero of the Anazali. What can I do for you? Oh, I'm just a ride. And he just snaps his fingers and points out again, leaving Cogsworth and all of you there. Is this about that thing you asked about earlier in the week, Cogsworth? Yeah, actually it is. Sorry about that. I was hoping we can get a little further from here, but... yeah, it's probably for the best you did that. Just message me before you all do that again, if you can. Let me go get this file. And he shuffles into the office as this nice, lovely breeze comes rolling off the hills, and everything smells of clovers for a brief moment. As at this point, it's spring again, and the green is spreading everywhere, and it's beautiful out. And Horak returns, holding a holographic pad. This is the only record of Narasu 3. You have my word. All I need is your signature. And he holds it out for you all. And after everyone signs? Right. So I'm going to ask you this directly. Does this pertain specifically to your work as Voyagers?
Yes.
Is secrecy important to you all on this topic?
Absolutely.
As I said, the only record. And he takes it and breaks the thing over his knee and just throws it over the edge.
I mean, that works too.
I meant what I said. I can't promise you all that I'll always be able to work with you one-to-one. But I'm not particularly keen with what's happening in the sector. If this is the little bit I can do to make it work, so be it. Don't ever talk to me about that planet again. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't exist.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And I am so sorry.
It's alright. You just balanced my checkbook a little bit, and I think I can count that as my morning cardio. So, we'll call that a win. Just do me a favor. If you're going to have your friend Anazali do that again, have them do it outside of my office. And he just walks back onto the gantry, picking up another teacup and another saucer to pour more coffee.
I feel like Becky would be like, what's the word, like picking up the tab for the, like, broken stuff? Just like... Sorry.
Yeah, I'd be like, let's buy him a new tea set.
Yeah, yeah, she would,
A new coffee set.
Oh, don't worry about it. It was from IKEA. It's nothing fancy. If you doubt IKEA will survive 400 years into the future in some shape or form, please find me another wholesale furniture manufacturer that has survived as well as it has.
I do not doubt that at all. Not even for a second. If anything, it's one of those things that you say and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
And so with that, I think we'll probably end our session here with you guys heading out onto the launch pad with your new friend, the Anazali hero, to teleport you guys eventually back to where you're going to go.
Yay!
Congratulations!
Please don't touch his armor.
Congratulations, new homeowners, on your purchase. I hope you're very happy.
Yes.
It's the only time I'm ever gonna do it, so
Right.
Right, dude.
I mean, I won't pretend that I'm not running this campaign as a little bit of wish fulfillment for myself. You know, just a little bit, just a hair.
the vibe is there. I get it.
So, for everyone who currently watched today, thank you all so much for tuning in to Legacy First Flight. It means the world that you all attended. To my incredible players, thank you guys so much for showing up. You guys are great. To KO and to Paul, I love you both. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope whatever you're dealing with today goes smooth and easy and you have a wonderful evening. And in terms of announcements, for those of you who are still watching and who enjoyed this session and can't wait for the next one, I do have some slightly unfortunate news. You will have to wait a little longer than usual, as our next session would have been on the 3rd, but I will be busy that week. So, the next session for us is going to be on the 17th, at least tentatively.
Right.
So keep an eye out on the 17th of March for the next episode of Legacy First Flight. More art will drop. I will drop a bunch of art today for World 24 for the World 52, including from here. And for all of you guys who followed and watched this whole stream, again, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. It helps the channel. If you want to really support us and help me keep the lights on, Patreon means a huge deal to me. And even just following it there to keep up with our latest lore drops and art and the world and the webcomics, it means a lot. To everyone else, thank you all for tuning in. I'm the last Omnitect. This is Unicorn Head Studios, and I'll see you all next time.